Hello everybody! Welcome to the third Virtual Sleepover, and this time we are going to be talking about local cryptids and non-local cryptids, any cryptids. But yeah, we have a different group today, although Issy and Julep are returning. So let's introduce everybody, and we go in the order of where we are in the voice chat. So that would start with Hano.
Okay. Hi, I'm Hano. Yeah, okay.
Good enough.
What are your pronouns?
Oh yeah.
He, they, sorry.
I forget to. Okay, and next, Julep.
Hi everyone, my name is Julep. I am a pig and my pronouns are he, they, it. You can find me at Twitch TV/PigJulep. I'm a pig and my name is Julep.
Yay. Next is me. I am Rem Inverse. I am a demon from a world of dreams and nightmares, but I am also a cryptid. So I can't assume anything but my human form. I am stuck in my human form while I'm awake. But sometimes I accidentally astrally project while I'm asleep, and I am witnessed. So I am a cryptid also. And yeah. I am on Twitch and YouTube at just Reminverse. And that's about that. I think Sun is next.
Okay, hey guys. I am Sun S37, Sun for short. I am an android from an indistinct point in the future, but come back to play lots of cool old video games. I am on Twitch at SUN_S37 and currently on Twitter at Namaswans, NAMASWANS, and pronouns they, them.
Oh, I forgot my pronouns. She, her, they, them. Both good. I said I forget every time when I do.
Your pronouns are Your Highness.
Your Eminence. And Issy.
Konban kiddo! I'm your beloved Issy. I'm magic, I'm a frog. That's about all you need to know. My Twitch is your beloved Issy. My Twitter is IssyFrogVT. My pronouns are she, her. And if you live in Ohio, you have definitely not seen me. What are you talking about?
Frog.
Frag.
Frog.
Yeah,
Furge. Oh, relevant to locations. I live in West Virginia, and all of the cryptids I'm going to be talking about today are going to be the ones that I share the astral plane with. It's actually quite crowded here. I'm probably going to talk about 4. I don't know if I'll get beyond, because there's more than 4, but I'll try to talk about at least 4.
I am from Florida, and I will be talking about the Florida cryptid as well as some of the not cryptids that just, you know, just being a Floridian. And I will also be talking about my fiance's favorite cryptid.
It's a good cryptid.
The abandoned arcade I reside in is somewhere in Maryland. We've got like a cryptid in Maryland, like the one, so I'm gonna tell you about the one that we've got.
Yay.
Which I think most people know if you know about cryptids already, but it's alright.
Alright.
Okay, so, oh, sorry. I was just gonna ask if anybody is feeling going first, or if not, like, I can jump in.
I know me and Hano have it kind of summarized.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Go right ahead.
You can go first.
Okay, over here I'm in Wisconsin, and I have 3 in mind. They're all related by one factor. You'll find out soon enough. I'll probably talk about more than that. Two of them are relatively local, as I live in Wisconsin, kind of up in the Midwest. But, you know, there's definitely more I could cover.
Wisconsin. How's the cheese?
But we have a lot of cheese.
Quantity. Nice.
Hell yeah, I love
Okay.
cheese.
Is there any spooky cheese?
Cheese.
I
That's
hope-
And
great.
cheese-stealing cryptids.
I wish. Anything to make this state any more interesting.
I understand.
Oh yeah. Okay,
Um,
and then I think hearing you guys' intro would kind of help me too. Oh, what were you saying, Izzy? Sorry.
I was just gonna say, I know the initial plan was for Shay to join with us tonight, but she couldn't make it. And she's a fellow Wisconsinite herself. She probably would have covered a few other Wisconsin legends had she been here, but I may or may not pick up the slack.
That's valid.
No pressure. This is a very, very casual. This is a sleepover, so.
Ooh.
I am
Take it-
sorry that
easy.
my PNG is like wigging out. I'm trying to like mute myself.
Well, it's okay. It's okay.
No, you're fine. You're fine. It's a cute PNG, anyways. I don't mind seeing it pop up.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just breathing a
and then-
lot.
Oh, that's fair.
Breathing's
and then
important.
I'm Kano. And then I'm from Hawaii, but there's a lot of cryptids and legends here that are indigenous and immigrants, I guess, if cryptids can immigrate. Because there's a lot of like local Asian myths and stuff that take place in Hawaii, but are very much like from mainland Asia. And so I'll be mostly covering things that like my heritage covers. So Japanese things. Yeah. One might call them my neighbors. Okay.
So does our current administration allow easy cryptid immigration? I hope so.
I hope so too. Well, whether or not they do, they're here.
They are here.
Yeah.
Very much so. I think it's interesting though. I like to believe that people take them with them.
Yeah.
Invasive species cryptids.
They just
Long
hide in
as
your
an
luggage
invasive
sometimes.
species. That reminds me of this tweet I saw where it was like cat boys are house cats only. If you see a wild cat boy in the streets, that's an invasive species.
Gently holds, takes home.
as all cat boys should.
Re-socialize the cat boy.
Reintroduce to society.
Make sure to spay and neuter your cat boy.
Oh my god, that reminds me of
Sorry,
the
I
other one
had
that was
to.
like
I think Silver would have
there
something
might be
to
the
say.
other one
about
that was like, oh yeah, like so you're a cat boy, microchips you.
Golly.
Alright, and then how are we gonna start it, Rim?
Well, Rem, since you said you were ready to go, maybe we can hear about your first one.
Yes, I am ready to go. I took notes. And I took them on paper because I realized last time I was typing a lot because I was responding to chat instead of interrupting people, but when I listened to my VOD, the keys were so loud. So all of my notes are on paper.
Clickety clack.
I don't know if I should start with Mothman first, since like he's the one that everybody knows and loves, or if I should hit like one of the lesser known ones first.
Save the best boy for last.
Okay, I will
Yeah,
save
and we can always
Mothman.
Yeah, we can always popcorn, like do one and then one and then one.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah, we can go around. So in that case, I will start with the Grafton monster. It's maybe the least interesting one of the bunch comparatively, and it's also like it's not super well known. Like I was talking about it with a bunch of friends who are also from West Virginia and the surrounding area, and they didn't actually realize that there was a Grafton monster. So and like these like they are cryptid people. Like they've performed at the Flatwoods like monster festival before and stuff, but they didn't know about the Grafton monster. So a little obscure, but it's also called the Beast of Grafton, and it was sighted initially, and I think mostly in June of 1964, which is, I think, let me double check, but I think that might be before Mothman. Yeah, that's before Mothman. Actually, most of them were before Mothman. But a bunch of teenagers reported seeing the Grafton monster, and it was reported to be 9 feet tall and 4 feet wide, with a white body, but like not like the sheep squatch / the white thing I'll get into later is another big white cryptid, but it's fluffy. The Grafton monster is not fluffy; it is just like skin. So like it has yeah, it has no discernible head, so it's just like squashed on top, and it emits a whistling sound, but it's 9 feet tall, 4 feet wide, so it's a very squashed boy. And so it was on Wednesday the 17th of June 1964 I found an article that said about 30 teens went hunting for this Grafton monster on this day. By the next day that number had doubled and adults started going too. And so what had happened, and I wasn't able to find the name of the monster from Michigan, but the articles from the time mentioned that there had been a similar monster sighted in Michigan, but except like the Grafton monster was supposed to be bigger, basically. Mm-hmm. So yeah, ours is bigger. Yep. Yep. And so the only possible explanations that anybody had were maybe a polar bear. Don't know why that would be down here, but that was one offered. And then the other was
just maybe a polar bear.
There had been a person pushing a handcart loaded with boxes that day. So maybe, who knows?
Very creative.
I think that there like actually had been someone like that in the area that day, so yep, that's all.
So funny.
That's all I can tell you. And although I am friends with cryptids in this area, I would not be giving you their personal information, so I'm just gonna stick to the reported facts. Mm-hmm. That's all I have to say about our Grafton boy.
If I want to send him a candygram.
I can pass your message along.
P.O. box.
Okay, yeah, what's the answer? P.O. box, yeah.
I guess I could go next if anybody wants to.
Sure.
So, I'm gonna start with the my fiance's favorite one because I have the least amount to say about it because I didn't do that much research on it because I'm bad at my job. So the Tsuchinoko is a snake, is a chubby snake that's just snake sized. A while back, our friends had a ongoing conversation where it was like what cryptid could be discovered and have the least amount of impact on the scientific world. The Tsuchinoko does not, to my knowledge, have any magical powers. It's just a fat snake. So, and it's like snake sized. It's not big or anything like that. It's just a fat snake. So that is what we have come up with as the safest cryptid.
It's a snake loaf.
It's a snake loaf. So I did provide pictures to Rem.
So here's the first one.
A Tsuchinoko. I
Yeah,
tried to
bring us the
provide
snake
more.
boy.
Here is 2 views of the Tsuchinoko from a while ago. Because you can tell it's a while ago because they don't know how to draw snake faces.
Sorry, I'm trying to find where they wound up on my desktop, so I'm a little slow.
Just a
Same.
chubby flat snake. It is Friday, so it wait, can I curse on your stream, Ryan?
You can. Yes, you can curse
Okay.
on the stream.
Okay, thank you. It's Flat Fuck Friday, everyone, and Tsuchinoko originally is not like as round from the older pictures and images that I've found. It's more of a flat kind of look with a spine going there, but lately it has kind of been just a round boy with a skinny tail, just a round loaf. And I love him very much. I love the Tsuchinoko. Tsuchinoko Reel became a meme for a while, and a lot of people do that. If you find pictures of Tsuchinokos, they're mostly just pictures of like blue tongue skinks with the legs like hiding. But I love them and would love them to be real, please.
Oh, I
Yeah.
should show Danger Tsuchinoko, which is a Yu-Gi-Oh card, and it's
Yeah.
adorable and I love it. They did the
Mhm.
so the Danger series is just all cryptids. It's a large picture, so I'm gonna put it over my face and not anybody else's face. But that is Danger Tsuchinoko, a very, very good boy.
Oh wow. I love him. He's so flat. I
He
love
is
how
flat.
he is.
Flat Fuck Friday.
Flat fuck Friday. That's the other thing. I'll get into this more on my introduction to the swamp ape, but also we have alligators, which are not cryptids. In fact, probably scarier than cryptids. But yeah.
Dinosaurs.
Yep. So that's that. The Tsuchinoko.
The good boy.
Mm-hmm.
Who also appeared in my favoriteest series ever, Toho Project.
Awesome.
What doesn't appear in Toho?
True.
Nice. So good. So
Who
flat.
wants to go next?
I guess I can go.
Okay.
So, way back, all the way in the days of 2 weeks ago, in our very first collab, I mentioned very briefly about the Beast of Bray Road. And I looked it up a little bit, just itty bitty, and I can tell you some neat little facts about the Beast of Bray Road. So it was first spotted in 1936, and then spotted multiple times throughout the 80s and the 90s, sighted most predominantly in a little place called Elkhorn, but also said to be seen in northern Illinois and southern Wisconsin areas. Most often regarded as a werewolf sort of creature, like some kind of canine. And I know, like, around the 80s, like, the sightings got popular enough that a reporter was assigned to kind of report on it by the name of Linda Godfrey. And at first she was very skeptical, but has since, like, kind of jumped to the other side of the fence, just seeing how passionate people were about this beast, and has since turned her newspaper articles into a book. The main like realistic candidates for the Beast of Bray Road would be some kind of unidentified dog breed, a prehistoric sort of giant wolf known as a wahila, Um, a wolf dog or coy dog, which I know my dad has experience with them. Like, they actually have very little sense of like fear of humans, so that might actually track. Or it was a bear, but it was suffering from mange. Have you ever seen a bear with mange?
Ooh, I can imagine
Oh.
one.
Can't say I have.
Not, but that sounds frightening.
Yeah.
I'm gonna Google it.
Oh boy.
It doesn't look like a bear.
Oh
I'll
my
say that
gosh.
much. It does not look like what you'd expect it to
Oh
look
my.
like.
I'm not gonna show that on stream because it's too sad to look at. But if you want to look it up, it is sure a sight. It does not look like a bear.
Poor babies.
Yeah,
Basically,
it
mange,
goes
I
in.
know, takes off like a lot of the hair and also like adds like sores all over the skin. So if you want to imagine, that's what you can imagine.
Mm-hmm. But alongside that, I know it's speculated a little bit that some of the hysteria came from a particular song written by Steve Cook, but it was about a different cryptid that's only pretty closely related. I'll get to it. When I get to it, because it's in my notes here. But last thing to mention about the Beast of Bray Road is that in 2005 there was actually a movie made about it, and it was made by it was distributed by none other than The Asylum, who is best known for creating 2013's legendary picture, Sharknado.
Oh my.
Oh my gosh. A legend.
A legend. That's maybe not the most
Cinematic
credible
masterpiece.
thing. Like, yes, we finally got a film to get the word out. Who's it by? The people who did Sharknado.
What are you talking about? Sharknado was real.
Incredibly credible source.
Yeah, they really
Believe
did.
me, wink.
They really did nuke a tornado. And it totally worked, guys. Come on. All right.
I it's true. I was the tornado.
You heard it here.
Did you get paid for the role?
Yeah, I was a paid actor.
Nice.
Does a tornado register for a bank account?
It's hard to get a social security number, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'd imagine a lot of red tape there.
Yeah. Tornado rights. Make bureaucracy more streamlined for tornadoes. Okay.
That's about all I have for Beast of Bray Road. If anybody wants to go next.
Okay, I can go next. I'm gonna have to. Okay, I think this would be the most cryptid of them all, or yeah, sort of. I forgot to send pictures. Sorry. But here we go. So the spirit or the person or the name of the creature, the people afflicted by this are Rokuro Kubi. Kubi means like decapitated, and then I don't know Rokuro, but I think it means like wandering, or stretchy. But yeah, so basically it's it has a supernatural cause, but it's afflicts like real people. But basically, when you go down to sleep, if you're afflicted with this, you would go down to sleep, and then while you're asleep, your head would stretch like taffy and go around eating oil out of lamps and scaring people, sucking people's blood, maybe eating a dog, and then returning in the morning. So as you can tell, that would be very troublesome to hide, I would think, because it's still attached to your body. But yeah, so this usually afflicts women because in Japanese folklore, like literally everything afflicts women for some reason. But basically, it's caused by a curse. So like a maldoing by one of the family people, which like didn't even have to be the woman herself. It could have just been like her dad. And then it would afflict her, which sucks. Talking about, there's another one, Nuke Kubi, I think, where the head kind of like detaches entirely. And that one sucks blood mostly, I think. This one is just kind of scares people and drinks oil, like gasoline. Which, can you imagine the aftertaste when you wake up in the morning and you have to brush your teeth? Yes. But yeah, so they're not born as monsters though, they're born as people. But yeah, so it has the curses are usually stuff like abuse and all that typical Japanese stuff where curses originate out of vengeful people. But yeah, and then for the Nuke Kubi, which I have a picture of here. Here we go. The quote unquote cure for helping people for getting rid of one basically was to, like, after the head leaves the body, to hide the body somewhere safe so that the head can't return, and then in the morning, if the head can't find the body again, it basically dies. But like the family members wouldn't do that to their family member, so yeah, so it was basically like, oh, you want to commit murder? Here's an easy way to do it.
You want to commit a crime?
You want to do crime?
You want to build a snowman?
No head though.
Yeah, headless snowman.
Headless snowman.
And for my
Unless you
stream,
hid the head inside the head of the snowman.
This is getting troubling.
yeah.
Head substance.
And I'm familiar with these, so I'm gonna pop a few images of those on my stream too. The Nuka Kubi is on the left, and the Okuro Kubi is on the right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love
something I like, or like something I think is interesting about like Japanese folklore is that like they're either rascals or troublemakers, or they're just like straight up like murderers. There's like no in between. Like it's just like, oh yeah, you're gonna die, like no trouble. And then the other one's like, oh, it'll caress your butt cheek and then leave you alone. And it's like, okay.
Like, it'll lick your bathroom
lick-
floor.
Yeah. Like it's a scat. That's it.
It will wash your beans.
That's scary too.
Can you imagine waking
Leave
up
my
and
beans
just hearing like
alone.
the rinsing of water running over beans, and then you turn on the light, and it's just ecumenical.
I would just turn the light back off. Like, well,
Yeah, I just go back to bed. And
Yeah.
just
so
be
yeah, have at it.
I saw
Have fun.
like, enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
Turn the water off when you're done.
Yeah, don't run the water bill
God,
up.
I love you, Kaya.
Yeah.
They're
So
really
I
fun.
double check the etymology on that for you. It's Rokuro is, so it refers to like a potter's wheel or a pulley, just things that elongate. So just the
Okay, yeah.
elongation for the the kubi is the neck. So
Yeah. Okay. There's one other. I guess it's not cryptid, but like eldritch kind of. That's my favorite. Because it reminds me a little bit of like H.P. Lovecraft type writing. But it's called Bake Kujira. It's basically a ghost whale.
Oh, cool.
Which I think is very neat because like whaling and stuff. So I think it's nice that they're prevalent enough in Japanese culture to like warrant having a place in folklore. But it reminds me of I forgot the name of the H.P. Lovecraft monster, but I remember like the one story that I read or like listened to was this one about like this sea creature that like drove people insane at sea, and then started with a D, like dogma or something. Doga. I don't know if you guys are familiar with H.P. Lovecraft, but
let's ask,
but yeah,
ask
so-
Google-san.
Yeah, HP Lovecraft, HP Lovecraft.
Dagon?
Dagon, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this one. Okay. Yeah, so it kind of has the same ominous I guess vibe to it because when it appears at sea, usually it's followed by red tide, which is like an algae bloom, which can kill fish because it takes the oxygen out of the water. But it's usually it brings like strange birds and strange fish and stuff with it, and I think that's like super cool. I mean, like it'd be really terrifying, but like I'm just like, whoa. Also, giant whale with like ectoplasm. That's pretty cool. But yeah.
I don't like that because I'm afraid of the ocean. But
yeah, ocean is scary. Not gonna lie.
I have a mixed relationship with the ocean.
Yeah.
I'm surrounded by it. I forget that a lot of people are landlocked.
I love the ocean as like I'm not I also forget people are landlocked. Like Rem, didn't you tell me recently that you don't know how to swim?
I don't know how to swim. I can doggy paddle a little bit, but that's it.
I cannot imagine.
Yep, I just don't go near water very much.
I think like if I were standing in the middle of nowhere and I looked in all directions and it was just flat and I couldn't see like mountains or ocean or anything, I would freak out.
Don't go to anywhere in the middle of America then.
Or honestly, like Central Florida.
I like purely navigate all my like navigation skills. I think it's also because I live on the main island, but it's like I orient myself by knowing where the mountains are and knowing where the ocean is.
It is just mountains here, just hills really.
I'm the opposite, just ocean and flat.
Nothing is flat here. Nothing is flat. When I go to places that are all flat, it feels like wrong, like incorrect to my brain. I'm like, this is not.
When I drive on hills, it feels so different to drive when like it's like 3-dimensional driving when I'm used to 2-dimensional driving.
Right? Parking on hills? Oh, I'm so bad at parking.
It is very scary on a road sometimes trip, here.
A couple years ago, cross country, and it's like the whole middle section just like there's nothing here. What's happening? There's nothing here.
We literally call people in Illinois flatlanders.
The land is flat.
The land is flat, therefore.
Oh no, flat
therefore, Earth.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Have you seen those it's like the ranking grid, but then instead it's like flat earther opinions where it's like, oh, like block me if you're a flat earther, pretends to be a flat earther just to antagonize anti-flat earthers, is neutral, and then it was like isn't a flat earther but makes the earth might be flat but my ass isn't flat jokes, and then it's like actual flat earther at the bottom. Those are funny. That would be cool to do for like all of us once everybody meets each other, I think.
That is very funny.
It is.
Where would you guys fall on the grid?
I'm definitely the earth might be flat, but my ass sure ain't.
Same.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good spot.
I'm probably in the not a flat earther but pretends to be a flat earther to antagonize people.
I just like I love conspiracy theories too much to like even pretend that they're real. I just like laugh at I enjoy laughing at conspiracy theories.
They hurt my head because I start thinking too hard about how people could get convinced of stuff. I'm just like, no, what, no.
Human beings are the smartest creatures on the planet, but that doesn't mean we're not capable of stupidity.
Yeah.
True. So wise. Oh, that reminds me, in like high school, I had these friends who were like super bent on like trying to convince me that like the bird robot conspiracy was like legitimate.
Oh my god.
Like I don't think they actually believed it themselves, but like I was kind of gullible. Like somebody would be like, "Oh, blah 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 blah," and I'd be like, "Oh, really? Like, wow." And they'd be like, "No, like that's an Onion article or something." And then, but like how in like recent years, like news articles and stuff that you read, it's just like, "Oh, I don't know if this is satire or not."
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of like that. Like I just people would say stuff, and I'd be like, "Whoa." Like I'd be like, "That's unbelievable," but then believe them.
Oh no.
I know, you've just won
They
$1
tried to
million.
think it was
Just
free.
give me your bank account information and I will be short.
No, I got scammed once.
Oh no!
Oh, I'm sorry.
It was a funny bank call though. They let me go because I was like, I got scammed.
Oh, I'm
Like,
glad.
sugar daddy.
Oh,
Dude, this is a little off topic.
yeah. So
Cryptids won't steal your bank information.
Yeah, see,
Oh no, Rem, your stream is hanging for me.
Oh, is it? Oh.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong in OBS. That's strange. Let me check.
Yeah, who knows? It
Oh,
could just be a Twitch mystery.
Restream might be
Twitch
having
mystery.
some
Twitch for-
issues.
Bermuda Triangle.
It doesn't seem to be working.
Yeah, the
oh, there.
Mothman's interfering. He heard that we were going to tell the truth about him.
I was gonna say Mothman wouldn't commit credit card fraud, but okay.
It looks okay for me now. Is it resuming for you?
Yeah, see, I want what Mothman's boyfriend has. Mothman's partner. Have you seen those tweets where it's like babe, come over, and then it's like, Mothman, I'm busy scaring tourists, and then it's like, I knitted you a sweater for dinner.
So think about me and Mothman. I get a sense of slight like possessiveness over Mothman because I like believed in the Mothman when I was like a little child, and so like now everybody like talks about Mothman. There's memes about Mothman. I'm like, no, Mothman is mine. but it's only a little jealousy. The
have
rest
him.
of me is like everyone should know about Mothman because Mothman is the best. So it's okay.
Yeah, I feel that. It's very near and dear to your heart.
Yes.
He's protected, mama.
So like when I was a kid, I would like lie in my bed at night and wonder if like maybe Mothman was invisible and like he could be in my room like right now like staring at me and I wouldn't know because he could be invisible. And I would be scared, but I also wanted to believe that Mothman was good. So I would lie awake thinking about that and like wonder if maybe he was in the because I lived up like not really in a rural area but like further out than a subdivision and like I was like on a hill that was like surrounded by other bigger hills and like it was just forest up the hills. We saw bears occasionally. So I would like lie awake like, is Mothman in the forest behind my house? Does he live there?
Did you ever try to talk to him in case he was there?
I don't know if I did that. I don't recall that, but I did like think about him a lot. And so the other thing, like when I was a really little kid, my parents got me Totoro, and I watched Totoro all of the time. And so, like, I would also wonder if there was a Totoro in my forest, and now, like, now I'm like, if there was a Totoro in my forest, I think it would have been a Mothman.
That's so cute.
Yeah, I watched Totoro, like, all the time when I was little.
It's a good movie.
It is a good movie. It's still my favorite Ghibli movie.
Did you have the
there's
VHS with the old Fox dub?
Yes, I did.
Oh my god.
I think I still have a copy somewhere.
Yeah, I still have mine.
There's like this hike near my house where like the trees like branch over, kind of like the passage that they take. And then it's like every time like we run through it, I'm always like, wow, and I pretend that I'm like the two siblings with my cousins.
Oh, that's so cute.
But yeah,
That is
I love
adorable.
Soot Spirits so much.
Yeah.
The soot spirits or the dust bunnies or whatever they call them.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
so good.
Makuro Kurosuke.
Cryptids.
Oh,
Okay,
sorry.
cryptids.
Yes.
One second.
Sorry for the
Yeah.
tangent about Totoro.
It's okay.
Totoro's
Totoro's a
kind of like a
cryptid.
cryptid. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Totoro's a cryptid.
I feel like Mothman is like I don't know, like I guess you know how there's the horror movie like LGBT icons like the Babadook,
Mm-hmm.
and then somebody was like Pennywise. I feel like Mothman is that, but like for cryptids, you know?
Really, he is. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
Okay, so I'll bring to you my only cryptid I have here. So, if you've been to Maryland, you know there's nothing in Maryland. There's nothing interesting in Maryland. So you look at like the Wikipedia article about Maryland, it's like, well, Six Flags is there, and Baltimore, I guess. But we
I
only
guess.
have there's nothing here. But so we do have our one cryptid, which is the Goat Man, and I love that image that Julep found of the Goat Man. So please bring up that great Goat Man.
The car
comic.
one.
But yeah, the car one. But
Okay.
so the Goat Man is our local legend cryptid, originated some point in the early 1970s from unknown sources, but one of those things that kind of got passed around with teenagers. And there are varying origins of the Goat Man, but basically he's part man, part goat, and that's it. And so a lot of the origin things are stemmed around the USDA agricultural research centers, which there are a lot of, like, so the area around central Prince George's County, Maryland, where this is based in, it's actually a lot of the land is owned by the government. Like, there's stuff with the USDA, there's stuff with NASA. You'll see a lot of just big fields and kind of weird buildings slightly off in the distance. And I don't know why this went to, like, genetic experimentation, because I'm pretty sure all the USDA does there is, like, corn. There's a bunch of cornfields. But the Goat Man is said to have potentially been an experiment from the USDA, or alternatively, a researcher who went crazy and did something to himself to make him part goat. And so we ended up with the story of Goat Man. And Goat Man was supposed to just run rampant through the woods at night in that area, specifically around what's one road called Fletchertown Road, just attacking people or like attacking them with an axe. There's not like a really good consistent story, and it's one of those things that I don't even think it's popular now. It's one thing people are aware that Goat Man exists, but there was never a really good body of lore, and probably for good reason, because conceptually as a cryptid, there's not much to him. He is a man goat.
The greatest of all time.
Yeah, great.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I only know Goatman from BuzzFeed Unsolves Goatman, where
yeah.
they go to the bridge, and Shane Bidet is like, Goatman, I'm on your bridge, Goatman. And it was very good.
Yeah, it's so interesting. So yeah, that bridge is Governor's Bridge, also known as Crybaby Bridge, which is, so it's just a creepy bridge. So I can see why it's a good site for cryptid stories. It's one of those old, like, steel cage looking bridges, one lane, and the story was tangentially the story was supposed to be, if you go to that bridge at midnight, you will hear the sound of a baby crying, because there's, like, you know, a bereft teenage mother, like, threw herself and the baby off the bridge. And so at some point in my youth, I actually did this with some friends. Like, we went there at midnight, and I mean, of course, nothing happened. Or did it? But,
Or you forgot.
Oh, maybe that's it.
No
Maybe
memories
that's
from
it.
that night.
It was so
Weird.
traumatizing that
Jeez,
your brain
I just can't recall it. My brain has short-circuited just thinking about it. But yeah, it's like, this is our one story we have around here. It's super goofy, and again, so I don't know why they came up with this origin specifically, because again, it's like, it's a little bit weird that the government owns so much of this area, but there's nothing there. Although I can tell you, so there's no public story about it, because this is just something that I experienced personally with my family. Where I used to live was pretty close to the Maryland NASA campus, and one point very late in the evening went out of our house and saw just some strange lights hanging in the sky for a long while, and decided to get in the car and go drive and find them, and just were driving and driving, and eventually we ended up just outside, like, as far as you can go for the NASA gates before it gets, cut off. And it looked like some kind of weird helicopter, maybe, but it was very quiet and just sitting in place for a very long time, and then just kind of vanished. So that's a, like, spooky, cryptid story that I've experienced. Who knows what's happening over at NASA?
Oh man.
Ooh.
I don't think the government wants you to know about that one. Shh, don't tell them.
Nobody can tell, okay?
Yeah, don't tell anybody. I'm telling the internet, but don't tell anybody.
Listen, FBI agent who follows
Listen.
me. This is just a joke.
It's just
You see.
between us,
that was
okay?
a story I made up. No, yeah. Funny joke, I promise.
Oh, I totally forgot about Bat Boy. Man, I don't have anything on Bat Boy. Maybe
Bat Boy?
if there's time at the end, maybe I'll pull some. So Bat Boy is supposed to be like, so it's a tabloid cryptid, basically, and he's like an escaped research subject, just a boy who's like fused with a bat, basically.
Yeah, it came from the same lab as Goatman,
Yeah.
Obviously.
That's why I was reminded, because
That's
he's
like the
supposed to be.
Yeah, I think that they're friends and they're hanging out together and they're happy.
Maybe so. But yeah, I totally forgot about. Bats are my favorite animal, so that's kind of funny that he is another West Virginia cryptid that I forgot. But like, it is like mostly a tabloid thing, so it feels a little different from things that like people actually like, or something like, oh, we saw this, it feels slightly different from that, but still, it's fun.
Yeah, I mean, Goatman at this point is basically a tabloid again. Like, all of the stories of actual Goatman sightings were from like the 70s and 80s. It hasn't been a thing really since then. It's just one of those kind of cool factoids at this point, because Maryland's boring.
Yeah. So, do you want to go next, Rem, or I can also do my Florida rant?
I will move on to the sheep squatch, and the sheep squatch is an interesting one because, like, I would say, as far as, like, other than the Grafton monster, like, some people know about the sheep squatch. It has become, like, semi-popular, like, in the cryptid fandom, as we might call it, because of, like, I think it appeared on some of those, like, cryptid hunting shows, like TV shows. But the interesting thing about the sheep squatch is that it goes back to, so the other name for the sheep squatch is the white thing, and there are mentions of the white thing at least as far back as the 60s. So I have a book called The Telltale Lilac Bush, and this is a pretty like famous book as far as like West Virginia stuff that pops up in West Virginian schools, because like it's an account of folklore that, like, stories that people claim to have actually happened. It's mostly ghost stories, but there's also a section on the white thing in this book, and so like the stories in that book, it's called The Telltale Lilac Bush. It's by Ruth Ann Music. It's from 1965, but the stories were like, this one was reported by 4 elderly fox hunters, and they were talking about stories, and there were some others, but like people talking about stories that happened to their grandparents and parents, so in the 60s. So this goes back that far. The first one was about someone's grandmother had been riding her horse on a Saturday night. I think she was coming back from church, and she just started to hear this horrible screech, just like a horrible noise, and her mare bolted, and as it bolted, a raging bundle of white burst out of the woods. It was much larger than a dog, yet not nearly a horse's size. I'm quoting from the So it had a pure white coat, razor-sharp fangs, and its teeth jutted outward from its gigantic mouth. It moved on all fours and screamed like a woman in agony. And so, like, she managed to get away. She got her mare to move. She managed to get it away. She tied her mare up at the barn, and she and her father were going to go out investigating the next day, but they found the horse crumpled awkwardly against the door. Most of the flesh was torn from its bones, and a look of stark terror was on its face. And so let me get the picture. This picture is actually from this book, and it's the only picture of the sheep squatch that I have, because all the other ones are like Fallout. So
Yeah.
Fallout 76 was sure a thing. But I will share that with you. This is the picture from this book, if I can get it to go into OBS. It doesn't want to go.
I want to see it.
I'm trying. But so, okay, while I'm trying to get this image to pop up, some other accounts from this book also were that it was like, there were some other reports of sheep being like ripped to shreds at night and things like that. And then also there was supposed to be like white standing about 2 feet from the ground. So this was much shorter. I guess it was on all fours. But it had a bushy tail, and it jumped on the person's father who was telling this story many times. It made no noise, and he tried to hit it. He had like his lunch pail, which is like a thing. Like back in the day, coal miners would, have a pail that they took their lunches in. And so like he tried to hit it with his lunch pail, and he like it couldn't touch it. It was like it wasn't there, but it was jumping on him. Oh, hello, dealer. Thanks. You came just in time for the sheep squatch. I was talking about it earlier. I was making my notes, and she was like, "Ooh." Yeah, so we are on the sheep squatch right now. I'm trying to get a picture to come up.
Sheep squatch, sheep squatch, sheep squatch.
There we go. I got it. Okay, so this is the sheep squatch as it is pictured in the Telltale Lilac Bush, and it's only called the White Thing in this book also.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
So floofy.
Yes, very
So
floofy.
floofy.
And then also
It looks like
it
looks like a cat that like just judges you from across the room, but much bigger.
So like a lot of the early accounts described it as being more like a dog, or like bigger than a dog, but not super huge, like, but larger than a dog. And then, but okay, so that was like, these were stories from the 60s. However, in the 90s, more reports of the White Thing started to come out, and they're mostly in the southern part of the state. So like, Kanawha, Boone, Mason, so like, the capital is in the southern part of the state, and then basically below the capital, it is the boonies, it is the sticks. So mostly in this area, in that area is where has been reported. And so like some of them were reported in Point Pleasant in the TNT area, which is where the Mothman was originally sighted, and that is in Mason County. So I'll talk more about the TNT area and what that is when I get to Mothman at the end. But so there are several reports of the sheep squatch, and one of them described it as having a sulfurous smell, which it was a Navy officer who saw it, and so he attributed this. He thought the smell was because explosives had been manufactured in the area. That's why it's called the TNT area. And then some women who were driving through Point Pleasant in the TNT area reported that a creature 7 to 9 feet tall with shaggy fur and ram. So this is where the sheep part comes from. They reported it as having ram horns, and it was like standing up, and it froze in their headlights and ran off. And then there was another Point Pleasant report. This was in 1994. So it was a 28-year-old guy who said he saw it when he was 7 years old. So that would have been 1973. And he described it as, and this is also Point Pleasant, TNT area, I think, a shaggy-haired creature with a 3-foot wide head. So a very wide head, kind of like this picture.
Wow.
And he described it as floating alongside his car that was going 65 miles per hour, like keeping up with the car.
Oh, big fear.
Yes. And then in the 1990s, in Cross Lanes in the General Kanawha Valley, there were just a rash of tons of sightings around Cross Lanes, I think. And then also some in Boone, Mason, Putnam County, same areas. In 1994, 2 kids in Boone County said that they saw a creature that looked like a white bear that stood 6 feet tall, and it ran toward the forest. And then the last one, a couple described seeing the sheep squatch. They described it as having 4 eyes, and it attacked their car. So basically, the sheep squatch / the white thing has been reported as like 5 different things, like all different sizes. Sometimes it has horns, sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it has 4 eyes. For some reason, these are all rolled into one. One creature.
It's an all-purpose cryptid.
Obviously,
is.
these are
Yeah,
all the same
like a Swiss Army knife cryptid.
Yes. So, yeah. Yep, that is the
Cryptid for
sheep
every
squatch.
occasion.
Yes, a cryptid for every occasion. I wish to stress that I bear no relationship to the sheep squatch. Yes, I am a sheep cryptid. Yes, I live in West Virginia, but I am not the sheep squatch, nor have I ever been mistaken for one.
No relation.
No relation.
Um,
That is a sheep squatch.
I know.
Sounds like something the sheep squatch would say.
Yeah.
I know I wanted to ask real quick, just because the idea of sheep squatch, like, it's just the first thing that came to mind. Have you ever heard of a horror comedy movie called Black Sheep?
I don't think I have.
No.
I have not.
So basically the premise is it's in New Zealand, and New Zealand is known for having and raising a lot of sheep. And basically there's this random scientist dude does genetic testing on a whole bunch of sheep and turns them into apex predators.
Oh no.
And I haven't actually seen the movie for myself, which is strange because like in middle school I had a weird obsession with it. But like basically later on into the movie, I know for certain there is a actual literal were-sheep.
Oh?
And that's what sheep squatch reminds me of.
Interesting.
That's so funny.
Interesting. That sounds like a good time. Maybe I'll look that up. Oh, as D-Lurk says, sorry, I can't say S's very well, so this is very difficult for me. Skittish sheep squash that flees when the headlights hit it. As opposed to the aggressive one that attacked the car.
Isn't that the idiom, like a sheep squatch in the headlights?
It's somewhere.
Froze like a sheep squatch in the headlight.
So I think it is time for me to do my little rant on Florida. So to start off with, we have alligators that just show up in people's backyards. So we have like 20 to 30 foot pythons that are just invasive species that just live here now. They just exist here. We have colonies of monkeys. We have an island called Monkey Island, and it like a couple domesticated monkeys got free on this island, and now it's just an island that has monkeys on it now.
Oh. Welcome, Stellar Empress. Thanks for lurking.
Like-
that game.
Nice to see you.
Hi, Kitty.
But like, so living in Florida, like there's like a certain irreverence for our cryptids that like I don't really see other places. A lot of places they're like, oh yeah, it's real, or oh yeah, it's not real, or oh, this is actually belief. This is something that we don't joke about. But Florida has one cryptid, like one real cryptid, because everything else could exist. Like a big spider exists. Like all of the things exist. One time my grandfather we were out camping and like a 15-foot snake fell from the tree and hit him on the head.
Oh,
Like, so it just happens. But we do have one cryptid, which is called the skunk ape, which I was calling the swamp ape last time that I was talking about them, and I do apologize. It's not the swamp ape, it's the skunk ape. The skunk ape is basically a Bigfoot. Pretty much. I have some pictures for that I gave to the Sueve.
Yes, I will assemble them.
Of the skunk ape to kind of give you the first two really give you like the feeling about the skunk ape, which is that like everything in Florida, this is a tourist trap and we don't take ourselves seriously. So it's very fun. And then I do have one spooky photo of a skunk ape there. The skunk ape has been actually cited all the way back to 1818. There was a man in Apalachicola, Florida. There was a report that spoke of a man-sized monkey or ape raiding food stores and stalking fishermen. The skunk ape is large, foul-smelling, hairy, and ape-like. And it runs upright on two legs. It's been sighted in suburban neighborhoods. It's been sighted in the swamp. It's been sighted in the Everglades. And it made such a big deal in the 70s that there actually was a state legislator that did not pass but was on the ballot to make it illegal to, and I'm gonna quote, to take, possess, harm, or molest arthropods or humanoid animals because to preserve this possible ape that exists.
Just in case.
Yeah, probably good. So most people think that it's either a black bear or a person in a gorilla suit, or just a general hope. And the National Park Service does consider the skunk ape to be a hoax. I have some names for the skunk ape. I just have the Wikipedia page open, but it's really fun to go through. The names for the skunk ape also include Swamp Cabbage Man. There's no explanation for that, just Swamp Cabbage Man. The Swamp Ape, like I said. Florida Bigfoot. Dink Ape. Louisiana Bigfoot. Swamp Squatch. Swamp Foot. And the Miyaka Ape. So it has basically been adopted as a mascot for rural Florida for our culture. Like people, my parents even have been to the skunk ape conservatory. There's a skunk ape conservatory over by the Everglades that you can go to, and you can get this beautiful yellow pamphlet for free, and it's like a 60-page pamphlet on the skunk ape.
What a bargain.
Oh my god.
People wear t-shirts. It's kind of just like Floridians like just have like when you but yes, they all that that is our Bigfoot, and it's kind of creepy, but it's like probably less dangerous than alligators, to be quite honest.
True. I mean, true. Fair.
There is a video of the skunk ape running around, and it's in swamp, and it's moving very fast. But I did read something that said like, we calculate this to be 20 miles an hour, and it's not that fast. So it's just a very, and it definitely looks like just a person. I'm gonna be honest. It looks like a person running around in the video. But yeah, the biggest thing that when we talk about like Florida cryptids always comes into like alligators that live not in Florida, which is there. So I do have a quick summation of this for from a site that I found called theall.com, where it says, monster, they don't need made-up ones because it's Florida. The gist, ... In a state like Florida, where alligators can be in your backyard, feral colonies of monkeys have become an invasive species, and giant snakes are like a thing and not an urban legend. It seems like there's virtually no need for cryptids. I asked a Florida resident for his own take, and his boring answer, sorry Grant, was that the skunk ape was basically Florida's things. But let's face it, smelly feral hominids are the only fun in theory, and not really what we would call interesting. If reports of cryptids and paranormal otherworldly beings were put to journalism terms, Bigfoot sightings would be the good weather stories, the kind of fluffy, furry things newspapers report to fill space. Plus, I wrote about the folk monster above, who is a type of skunk ape, and who has an awesome distinction of having his own movie, unlike a certain skunk ape in America's Weirdest State. Anyway, if you need a real answer on something that's not an actual alligator in somebody's backyard waiting to murder your family, I guess go catch up on the Gulf Breeze UFO photos, which rank somewhere between Jonah Lair before and then slightly after you realized he was full of shit. We do have sightings off of the coast all the time. But yeah, that's pretty much most people's opinion of the skunk ape is like, you couldn't do better.
Oh no.
Be as wild as the real Florida.
Yeah, Archie is here. Welcome, Archie. And Archie wants to know if Florida Man has been mentioned yet.
Florida Man, the cryptid.
Florida Man, you are speaking to Florida Man.
Yeah,
we are all Florida Man.
Florida Man is a state of mind.
So, do you guys want to know the actual reason behind Florida Man, which is kind of not a bummer, but it's just like a weird thing?
Sure.
Oh, I know this one.
So,
yeah.
The reason that Florida Man is such a thing is because Florida, for all of its conservative policies about everything else, we do have very transparent rules about police reports, where if a journalist calls a police station and asks for all of the reports, all of the arrests that happened that day, they can just receive all of them. All of them for the entire county. For the entire state.
And they just pick out the wildest ones.
So reporters, when they have nothing to write about, will go and find something to report on by just calling Florida and asking for all of their police reports from the last week.
Give us all your Florida men.
And there will be at least one meth addict that had an episode during that, which is like Florida has a very bad population, bad like problem with like homeless people and meth addiction and like all the kinds of things that are meant to keep poor people from, like, you know, living their lives. So yeah, we have a lot of meth addicts, but that's what meth does to your brain.
Yeah.
Is it makes you crazy a little bit.
Yeah, we got that here. So West Virginia, we got the 4 M's. We got mountains, we got moonshine, we got meth, and we got Mothman. That's about it.
Oh my god. When you say those other two things, when you say all of those three things before the fourth thing, it kind of makes the fourth thing make more sense.
Yeah. So I'll tell you some stuff about Mothman when we get there, but so catching up on comments. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead and finish. I didn't want to interrupt you to read comments until you're done.
Oh, the truth of the matter is that meth addiction is scary, and it's also everywhere, especially in the American South. And so, like, Florida man things, like, at the end of the day, like, most Floridians I know kind of take it as a badge of pride because they're working class people like me, or well, I'm technically under the poverty line. Like, so, like, most people just, like, kind of am like, yeah, I'm crazy as hell. That's how I live here. And it's kind of like a badge of pride. But when you make Florida man jokes, you want to be, like, sensitive about that.
Yeah.
If you're not a Floridian, that it's just, like, a sad thing.
Yeah.
Archie asks, probably Rem, because I haven't gone to West Virginia yet. Have you gotten to slap the Mothman
I
ass?
haven't. I've never seen the Mothman statue. I've been to Point Pleasant, but, like, not, like, really in it. Like, I pass through it sometimes. So I've never gotten to slap the Mothman ass. No, someday I will. I've never been to the Mothman, like, festival thing they do either. So.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
I really want to go to that someday. I realize it's actually not that far of a drive from me if I wanted to, so.
Yeah, Maryland is like, Maryland for me
We're
is
right next door.
a place that I passed through on the way to New Jersey to visit relatives when I was a child.
Yeah, that's as notable as Maryland is. It's okay.
Yeah,
Nothing here.
I'm sorry, but like I said, we don't have much more, so. Oh, baby's coming.
Enjoy
Baby,
your
please.
boring states. All of you enjoy having a boring state.
Yeah.
That's true.
So,
Take my blessings.
catching up on comments, D-Lurk says Remlor is now that she has a branch of the family tree that's just different sheep squatches, to which I say, don't reveal my private information. On stream.
That's doxing. That's doxing.
Don't dox me. And also about tourist trap cryptids, they just run the tourist trap personally. They're out there running the tourist traps.
Yeah.
Also
Yeah,
mentions
you
that
gotta make money somehow on this capitalist hellscape.
The Florida men run the Skunk Ape Conservatory, and it's all great.
Yes.
And I love Florida for all of the shit that I give it. I love it so much. I love the stupid things, like Florida man gets, like, almost arrested because he has, like, a big sticker that says "I eat ass." The car. There's the Florida Man Festival, which is like a music festival, and it's always to benefit, like, poor people in Florida and stuff like that. Like, we get it, we get by.
That's awesome.
We make do.
To help the working class helping the working class.
Yeah, that's pretty much the state of Florida, is like where the working class is the only people that helps the working class in Florida. The other,
and then there's just
there's all the retirees that are.
I was just gonna say that there's all the people that move there to retire.
Not to get too political in this one, because I don't really want to get too political, because that's been my whole day. But a lot of people. The one thing that I do hate, and I'm really glad that the chat hasn't done, is talking about, like, cutting off the state, or like, we don't need Florida, just because, like, the number of queer people of color is higher in Florida than most other states, and it's just like, no, you need to hold Florida accountable. Like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can't just leave us.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's
We got y'all, it's okay.
yeah.
also a subject near and dear to my heart because West Virginia, Appalachia,
Yeah.
so I understand completely. Archie says Florida
Yeah.
girls make do, Florida men make do. And Dealer says
Florida
it's nice
girls make
loving where you're from.
with a hot pickle.
Say, Renda, don't worry. I trust y'all more than I trust Virginia, so it's okay.
Mood.
That's valid.
I saw there was a map that's like, what's the state that each state hates the most? And it's like, for Maryland and West Virginia, they hate Virginia the most, and Virginia hates West Virginia the most.
Yeah, I mean that's true, but also Ohio, and no shade to Issy. So the thing about West Virginia is West Virginians hate Ohio drivers. Hate them with a passion. If you talk to any West Virginian, they will be like,
so
Ohio
far.
drivers. It's a
How
thing.
often do West Virginian people go up to Ohio? One thing I'll say about Ohio, and Izzy, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, is like every person that I've met from Ohio is like, thank God I'm out of there. It is, I don't know why, but that's what they act like.
Baby,
Well,
please.
you want to know something?
Mm-hmm.
The only reason I mentioned Ohio earlier is because of a cryptid I know of.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay, that's fine then.
sorry.
I didn't want to
Yeah.
be like going off.
And we can just throw shade at Ohio all day. Thank you.
And one more thing about Ohio.
So
But I suppose we can use that for a segue.
Actually, real quick, if you don't mind me making a brief interlude while we're on the Squatch family of cryptids, I was mentioning this to my girlfriend yesterday, and they are Australian, so I was like, okay, what cryptids do y'all actually have over there? And their thought for a minute, they're like, oh, we've got the Yowie. I'm like, the Yowie, like like Yaoi? Yeah, no. Like, no, the Yowie, which basically is like their version of Bigfoot. It says, I had to look this up. Let's give you the quick
What?
description of it. It says, the Yowie is usually described as a hairy and ape-like creature standing upright at between 2.1 meters and 3.6 meters. The Yowie's feet are described as much larger than a human's, but alleged Yowie tracks are inconsistent in toe shape, in shape and toe number. And descriptions of the Yowie foot and footprints provided by the Yowie witnesses are even more varied than those of Bigfoot. The Yowie's nose is described as wide and flat. Behaviorally, some report the Yowie as timid or shy. Others describe the Yowie as sometimes violent or aggressive. So it sounds like another one of the things that these stories are all over the place, but I do find it interesting that we have these Sasquatch, Bigfoot-esque creatures in all these very different places. So makes you think.
I just was waiting with bated breath for you to say, like, and they have really big hands.
Yeah, I mean, they probably do. They got big feet. They probably got big hands. Yeah, they got the Yowie hands. It's Y-O-W-I-E Yowie.
The Yowie.
Yeah, that was my. I had a good laugh about that last night. So that's my interlude.
Very good to know.
All right, all yours, Issy.
So Ohio, so as it turns out, when I was doing a little itty bitty bit of research around Midwestern state cryptids, what should I come across but pretty much the one cryptid that I would look at, and its existence, it's the idea alone, would give me an existential crisis, because over in Ohio, they have what is known as the Loveland Frogman.
Oh, I've heard of the Loveland Frogman, but I haven't yet actually learned anything about it. Please do tell. I am so excited, but I just am now realizing that you are also a frog. Oh no.
And I didn't actually look too into it myself, but the summary I got was that some sightings even pointed out like it might, like sometimes they'd be holding sticks and they would use these sticks to create sparks. So like there was even some idea like some of these frogmen were magic. So
Oh man.
Prometheus.
Frog wizards?
it's like my
Frog
entire it's my entire identity, and it's a complete coincidence.
Issy's like, I never knew my father. ...
And then the love minute when Frogman comes up behind.
I am your father.
Issy, it's been so long.
I've come here to teach you the frog magic ways.
And so I hop away into the night.
Politely decline goodbye. Oh man, that's awesome.
great.
My boyfriend loves frogs. I have to tell them that.
That's really good.
Um,
Yeah, go ahead.
I know, that was just like a brief little side I know I wanted to bring up, but as far as like an actual cryptid, I looked deeper into working, off of my previous descriptions and tellings of the Beast of Bray Road. I would also be remiss to not mention the Michigan Dog Man. So
Oh,
what
man.
I've got.
Just oh man, dog man.
So
Ooh la la.
So allegedly, the first recorded sighting went all the way back to 1887 in
Whoa.
around the Manistee River and around Wexford County, Michigan. Eyewitness accounts and attacks were reported starting in 1937 across the 1950s and down into 1967. And local native Odawa, I think, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, native folklore suggests that it was a thing for much longer than even 1887.
Mm-hmm.
And similar to the Beast of Bray Road, it's described as a werewolf or dog-like creature.
Mm-hmm.
And funny thing about how it got popularized. So there was this man named Steve Cook, and he was sort of like a DJ person for a radio station in 1987. And as an April Fool's joke, he wrote and composed a song just called The Legend. And it basically describes the Michigan Dogman to a T. And
Mm-hmm.
like, despite the fact that it was done completely just as a joke, people started to take it seriously. And so now, like, you could argue the Michigan Dogman is just the Beast of Bray Road's more popular Midwest cousin. I know also boosting its popularity was a discovery of a short 70s-ish reel of film called The Gable Film. However, it has since been confirmed as a hoax by its creator with the use of a man in a ghillie suit.
Damn.
Darn.
It's always them ghillie suits.
But other than that, it's also made appearances in features like History Channel's Monster Quest, in Season 2 of Destination America's Monsters and Mysteries of America, and even got a 2011 film just titled Dogman, directed by one Rich Brower.
Wow.
So that's what I got for the Michigan Dogman.
Ah.
Wow.
Excellent.
So much history.
But the real question is he a good boy?
Is he a good
That
boy?
is
Is he a
a
good
good-
man?
I hope he's a good boy.
Such a good boy. He was already on those settlers. He knew what was up.
D-Lurk says we're all cryptids. Yes, we can all be cryptids.
Yes.
I'm a pig.
Yeah.
I'm a pig.
Yeah, Julep's a
do?
pig. But you're a pig man, though.
I mean,
I'm an anthropomorphic pig.
yeah, see, I mean, I'm an android, so it's not quite a cryptid.
True.
But my friend also has one. My friends have called me a cryptid, which I appreciate greatly. So
I might
Good
have cryptid
compliment.
energy, but I'm just a Floridian, actually.
Same difference.
Lily Bell says,
You're-
"What? One time
you're
I
a
saw
magical,
a pig wearing a
mystical
shirt."
creature.
Lucky
One
you
time I
were
saw a
to-
pig wearing a shirt. Thanks, Lily.
And Dealer says there's no such thing as a bad dog, parentheses man.
Yeah, how lucky you, Jewel, to be born in the Australia of the United States.
I sure was.
Damn.
Archie
Wait, I have a
is a
question though.
cryptid.
Do your roaches fly?
Yes, roaches.
Do your
are
roaches not fly?
Wait, are there
All,
roaches that
all
don't
roaches fly, don't they?
Apparently.
Oh.
I don't know. I heard somebody talking about how Australia roaches fly, and they're like, "That shit's crazy. I hate
I'm
that
pretty
place.
sure
I'm never
ours
going there." And
can
I was like,
fly,
"Wait, what?
too.
You have roaches that don't fly because Hawaii has roaches that fly."
Yeah, ours
I-
fly.
By the by, those Hawaii roaches, I was there many years back, and at some point when we were
There are
staying,
so many.
we were in like some like real crappy little motel for one night, and there was a kitchenette, and I went over to the kitchenette, and for some reason I opened like the sink cabinet. And then I saw the roaches there, and I closed it and like ran to the other side of the room because they were like the size of my hand. I'm like, how do y'all
Yeah.
live down there?
It's the thing is when you live in like a temperate or like not temperate, a tropical climate, it doesn't
Mhm.
matter like how clean your house is, you will have bugs.
Yeah.
Unless your house is like air conditioned and sealed tight, then you might escape it. But
Like-
it literally doesn't matter.
It's really bizarre to me when I hear like my fiance's from California, and like there was a whole drama with his sister and roommates about like roaches getting in, and it's so bizarre to me because like my response is like, well, did it rain recently?
Yeah.
Like if it rained, the bugs come in. That's just how it works. Like I don't
Yeah.
know any place. I've never worked anywhere. I've never without bugs. Like it's just part of the thing, and it's not
It's
a great part of
coexisting.
the thing.
No,
It's not
it's not.
something.
Yeah,
This I'm
so-
not saying affectionately, but
Yeah, so yeah, we live in the middle of the woods, so it's like that, but like with various creatures. Like, you know, is that old meme about like, and then snakes started manifesting in my house physically? Like, that's just happened.
Yeah.
oh man,
Like, yeah, like we just like multiple times we've had like I walk down the hall and it's like, oh, what's that on the ground? It's just a little baby snake is just chilling. Like, okay, hi.
My
Aw.
Where'd
cats
you
will
come
bring them
from?
in. My cats will bring them in.
It
And
is not even brought
frogs.
in because like our cat's old and yeah, frogs too. So like my bedroom's on the second floor of our house. We have like a full set of stairs. One time I'm just sitting, I'm chilling. I look down on the floor, little baby frog hopping across the floor. Where did you come from? You would have had to come in the back door and across the house and all the way up the stairs. Like, how did you get here?
Determination.
What was the
Un-
event that led you
right
to
under
this?
bootstrap.
Yeah. But like all sorts of we get like the snakes, we get the frogs, we get big spiders. So now I'm just kind of accustomed to living side by side with our local wildlife.
Yeah.
So
Same.
So, like, as I mentioned before, sometimes there would just be bears in my neighborhood. Thankfully, not often, but, like, definitely that was a thing. So,
That's insane to me. I like so gators. So literally, if I was at my parents' house, I could leave this. I could like leave their house and walk for 20 minutes and probably find a gator. Not a big one, but one in the retention ponds. So like it's just like when you're a kid in Florida, like one of the things they teach you is like how to run away from gators.
Oh.
What does a gator's nest look like? Like, what do you do? Like,
Oh no.
How do you run from
That's
a gator?
smart.
How fast is a gator?
gators
run
can
kinda
go
fast,
really,
right?
really fast, but they can't turn. So you want to like run one direction and like you want to randomly like change directions while you are running.
Just
To get away
zigzag on them.
They can go
Bob and
extremely
weave, bob
fast.
and
Like
weave.
they're about as fast. You wouldn't think so because they're so big and they're like water animals. So, but they can go really fast. They also can like climb fences.
Oh my god.
They
Oh,
they
yeah,
they
I've
will
seen stuff like
climb
that.
chain link fences
Oh
and
no.
stuff. Like they are. I love them so much, but they are a menace.
So
gosh.
like
Yeah.
as far as West Virginia goes, so aside from the bears, which I've only seen a couple times in my life, I have never seen a copperhead or a rattlesnake, but there have definitely been some around my house, and I don't know what to do if you encounter one of those. Just cry and die, I guess. That's what I would do.
Suck the
Poison-
venom out of the
keep on-
body.
Keep on back.
Yeah.
I've been told that the best thing to do is just know that it's afraid of you and give it a way out.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah. That's smart.
Yeah, as far as the bears, when I was real little, we lived in New Mexico for a time, and we'd have like the coyotes in the neighborhood, like bears in the
Mhm.
neighborhood, and I have a memory because I was very young, so I don't know if I just dreamt it, but I remember waking up in the middle of the night because I heard something, looking out the window, seeing a bear like digging at our garbage can, and I didn't know how to process this, so I just went back to sleep.
Oh, mood. Oh my gosh. Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Honestly, the scariest thing that I've ever seen, like camping and stuff like that, and I've seen like some scary things, but like the scariest moment for me was there was one time where I was camping and I had to go to the bathroom, and the campground bathrooms were there, and I didn't want to like not use a bathroom. I wanted to go to a toilet that I could sit in, and I go towards there, and there's like a dumpster next to it, and as I walk towards the dumpster, like I make a noise, and then like and I have my flashlight, and then suddenly there are all these eyes
Oh no.
reflecting the light back at me. They were
Oh
raccoons.
my god.
They were 100%
Oh my God.
raccoons. But
Raccoon party.
just
Oh.
like if I'm thinking about it, it's probably somewhere between 18 and 30 raccoons
Mhm.
just in one and that was all I saw was their eyes reflecting back at me, and it was like that scene in Snow White where all the eyes
That reminds me of a story that my friend told me recently, and she had never told. I've known her since I was like 13, and she had never told me this before. So she was camping with her mom one time, very close to where, I won't say where, but very close to where I live. She was camping, and they got surrounded by coyotes in the night. Just surrounded by
Oh, God.
So like
Oh my god.
there I have heard coyotes behind my house, but I've never seen, like, we have big dogs, but there are tons of coyotes up there. I've just never seen one because they don't come near my dogs. But yeah, they got very close to my house, surrounded by coyotes in the night.
Oh my gosh.
And they're
We just got foxes. Foxes would scream, and they sound like haunted souls, and
Oh,
I hate it.
yeah, they make some noises. They really do.
What
So
does
Yeah,
fox
so yeah, what does the fox say? The fox says,
Scream.
"Ah!"
So onto the subject of
inhuman scream.
yeah, onto the subject of cryptids slightly. So they're actually in most places that don't actually have big cats, but especially like Appalachian big cats are a thing, and Appalachian black panthers specifically are the cryptid. There are mountain lions in some places in Appalachia, and they occasionally wind up in West Virginia, but there's not a population here. People swear that there are, but a lot of times what they're hearing is foxes or coyotes screaming, and not mountain lions. They do occasionally wind up here.
We don't have any kind of big land animals besides boars.
Oh man,
We
but
have
boars
big
can
sea
get so
animals
big.
though.
I say this as a pig person. Boars can get so big and scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
The piglets are so cute though.
30 to 50
Yeah.
wild boars is a joke, but if you actually were surrounded by 30 to 50 wild boars, it would be terrifying. You would die.
Yeah.
You would be dead.
Yeah, like the most unrealistic thing about the 30 to 50 wild boars is just like having the ability to do anything whether or not you have a gun.
Oh, bye, dealer. Thanks for coming. Thanks for hanging out. And hello,
Bye-bye.
CCT. Welcome. And yeah, we have a lot of deer around our place too. Well, not.
we have so many
I
deer.
forgot. Oh yeah.
I hate deer. I used to love them until I lived
Oh,
around them.
no.
I'm like, no,
Oh,
there's so
no.
many because they
Are
just
they
drive
not
my
good?
dogs. Deer just drive my dogs crazy, and also they eat all of your garden and they poop everywhere. So
Wow,
I-
Hanao.
I guess I can attest to that. I've pooped in a garden once.
Wow.
Oh, I see.
I didn't want to, but I had to.
is
That
it you who ate my mother's tomato plants?
Maybe.
plausible deniability.
Hanao,
You know,
babe. I've eaten a lot of tomato plants, so
It's not the tomato that interests me. It's the leaves. Tomatoes, I think, give me indigestion. Hence the poop. Oh yeah. On Oahu, we don't have many deer because it's like pretty city wise. But on Maui, we have like quail. There's like wild quail. There's wild deer. I don't think there's wild alpacas, but I know people keep alpacas. And yeah, and I think that's really cool because like we don't have that here. We just have mongooses and which are basically like weasels, but mink or sleeker, and they like
Go ahead.
but yeah, they're just like brown and they're kind of cute though.
And they hate snakes.
Yeah, and they fight snakes. They eat snakes.
I
Oh,
will
now
say
there's a
one
song stuck
good
in my head.
Florida thing that people don't talk about is key deer because they only live in the Keys, which is an island. But we just have dog-sized deer that are sweet and
Aw.
nice, and also will
Babies.
pose for pictures because they know that the tourists like them. They will
Aw.
come up to you
Aw.
and try to get like food from you, and it's just cute.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to
Oh my
go
God,
listen
they're
to Cobra
adorable.
versus Mongoose
I
later.
understand.
One of my favorite bands, Shonen Knife. They're a Japanese punk band, and they sing a lot of songs in English too. And like they have a song called Cobra versus Mongoose. They're delightful. I will link some songs later.
Nice. But yeah, and then for ocean creatures, we have like sharks, reef sharks. You see the most probably, especially if you're diving or like snorkeling because they like to sleep. Or like when you see them, they're sleeping. They're not active, but they do look awake and they'll like swim or they'll be like under shells and things like that. But they're pretty cute. And then oh yeah, and fun fact, shark babies are called pups.
Oh,
I
oh
think that's
yeah,
adorable.
cute.
But yeah, and then we have tiger shark. I don't think we have great whites. That's more of an Australia thing. But we do have a lot of tiger sharks and like mako and things like. And then we have a lot of whales, mostly humpback whales, I think. I recently saw some this month. I went
what's
to
it like?
Pipeline. Yeah, I went to Pipeline. I don't know if you guys know it, but it's a popular surf spot where they're like famous for like barrel waves and stuff. And it wasn't that far away from like where the surfers were, but we saw like fin slaps and like spouts. And I saw like a little tiny spout and a little tiny fin, and I was like, oh, they had a baby because when they come down here, that's when they have their babies and stuff, and then they go back up to go eat near Alaska and things like that. So they're super cute. But yeah.
Nah.
And then dolphins. Oh yeah, dolphins. You see dolphins a lot. And turtles. You see turtles super plenty. But dolphins,
the ocean.
Yeah.
And dolphins.
Dealer has
dolphins
left.
they
Turtles
surf.
are her favorite
I don't know
animal.
if you guys have if you've seen it in Florida, but dolphins they surf waves sometimes. It's like if you wake up early.
Yeah, you don't really see it from like the shore that much, but We have like dolphin tours that they'll take you out and like you'll go see them, and I just love them. I love seeing them. I really love manatees. Manatees are like
Oh
the
yeah,
the best,
big
like
cat.
literally the best kind of thing. Like just when they exhale, it sounds like a big sigh
Oh,
of just
Aw.
relief, and it's just so good.
oh.
Same, buddy, same. But yeah, and then dolphins will surf in like barrels and stuff, and our waves, like we have like lots of different reefs, some that crash like far off the coast and things like that, so it's like easy for them to surf without getting like beached or anything. But yeah, and then like favorite ocean critters are probably like crabs. I like crabs.
I do too.
And yeah, crabs are awesome. And eels are super cute.
Wiggly.
Eels
Like there's
are
plenty
very
of
cute.
like moray eels and stuff. Yeah, and they're all very timid except for moray eels. They're like typically more like I guess curious. And I think there's only like one type of moray eel that's like particularly ferocious. All the rest are like kind of timid. But yeah, but they're really cool. And I like the way they just kind of chill with their mouth open.
Yeah,
It looks like
they
they're
always
kind of
look like they just told a joke and are waiting for someone to laugh.
yeah, they're like when they go back and forth. But yeah, I really like them. It's super fun.
I really love fiddler crabs. I used to have pet fiddler crabs. I love the way that they wave. It's wonderful.
Oh,
Have you
tiny
seen
crab
pom-pom
wave.
crabs? We just end up talking about regular
Yeah.
animals.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say
I
so.
have-
Yeah, should resume our cryptids. We
I,
have
yeah,
none of
I
that
still
left.
have Flatwoods and Mothman. So
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I have a couple left too.
okay, you can go first if you want to.
Okay. Okay, so this one is a giant skeleton.
Hell yeah.
And it is called Gasha Dokuro, which is like kind of an onomatopoeia of like the noise that it makes when it rattles. But basically it's like, think of like, you know, like how there's like jokes about the skeleton army and everything. And like, you know, how our skeletons will go on to fight in the afterlife and all that. It's kind of like that. But then like if all our skeletons like got together to make one big giant skeleton in a trench coat, and then like preyed upon people in the countryside, which is like, you know, less of a valiant effort. But that's basically what it is. It's just basically the spirits of like a bunch of like dead people, of course. And they kind of like gather, when there's enough of them, they gather together and they like haunt the countryside and stuff. And yeah, and they were more common, I guess, or like there were more sightings like way back when, because I guess like wars and famine were more common in like the feudal era and things like that. But now not so much. But I like them because I think they're pretty neat, and I like the noises that they are said to make and stuff. But yeah, and they typically have long lifespans, or at least until like their spirits basically get tired. They're just like, you know, they get it all out, and then
I'm
they're
done
like,
now.
okay, we're done now. Yeah. They
Bye.
take a break. Yeah, but I think like it's been like around for like 1,000 years, I'm pretty sure, or just about. 'Cause it was like, yeah, I think it was. I'm really bad with like dates and the concept of time, but yeah, it was a pretty long time ago, and because it talks about like a lot of like really historical figures in the first, like, I guess, folklore that's mentioned in. But yeah, and then I wanted to talk about the butt one, which I'm sure people have
It's
heard
time
of.
for
Yeah.
butt stuff.
It's time for butt
It's time
stuff.
for butt stuff. I didn't put a picture on stream just because I was like, I don't know if this is against TOS, because you can kind of see like balls, but like
Oh yeah.
yeah, the description was really funny though, because like, I don't know, I've heard stories about it, but like more like spooky stories meant to scare kids, and not like the actual stuff. So I think it was exaggerated, but because I read it here and it's just like, oh, they just like to like flash people basically, and that's it. them, I'm like the other one was like, oh, like the eye will like chase you home or whatever. I'm like,
Oh, I know the one
um,
you're talking about. Yeah, I know that one.
yeah, like the eye and the asshole
The
will haunt
eye.
you. um, so
Terrifying.
yeah, I think it was a story because to like tell us to like watch out for like perverts basically, because like I don't know, like it wasn't like the other kids that told me this story. It was like our like teacher aides at Japanese school who were like telling us like if you ever see like weird strangers in coats or whatever, you should like watch out or whatever. Don't talk to them when they ask you to like and, but anyways, the description of it was like like I guess like the typical story usually it goes along of how oh yeah, and it's called shirime. Shiri is like your butt, and then me is eyes.
Titty
Yeah.
is butt?
No, shitty.
No,
Shitty.
shitty.
I'm
Shitty.
sorry, I was just making a
It
joke.
does
Oh.
sound like shitty. The shitty. Just gonna call my butt that from now on. The shitty. But yeah, so basically it approaches travelers on like a road late at night or like in the streets, and looking like a man wearing a kimono. But like I like and it's like, but as you get closer, you realize it's faceless. And I like a lot of the faceless like yokai and stuff because like they tend to be more like urban legend, like cryptid type stories. But yeah, so basically he'll be like, oh, can I have a moment of your time? And then like before you can answer, he just like fucking strips right there and then bends over and spreads his butt cheeks and then shows you the giant eye inside his butthole. Like that's literally how the story goes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, the description was just like somebody just bends over and spreads their butt cheeks. Like,
No.
Awful.
uh,
The true horror.
yeah.
Is sexual
Yeah, and I'm just like-
harassment.
yeah, I'm just like, oh my god. The only thing I could really say about this when like I was reflecting on it, like in high school I took an Asian history class and then I was like, oh, now all the stories that I was told growing up makes a lot of sense. It's because like Japan was closed off to the world that people had way too much time on their hands to come up to I guess like put in the manifestation for this spirit. But yeah. And I'm ready to hear. Oh well, wait. You want Mothman to be the last one, right?
Mothman will be the last. Before Mothman,
We got
have
Flatwoods, right?
the Flatwoods Monster. Yes, and I am very very fond of the Flatwoods Monster. It is probably, I don't know, Mothman maybe the fave, but Flatwoods is very close. So Flatwoods Monster.
I like the Flatwoods monster because she looks like a lady.
Yes.
So-
It's representation.
I
Flatwoods Monster's the only one that really freaks me out for some reason.
So I generally refer to Flatwoods Monster with he, him, and it is because back when I was like a teenager, I was like, I wanted to make a comic where Mothman and the Flatwoods Monster were boyfriends. I didn't make the comic, but I wanted to.
Do
Oh
it.
my
I am an
God.
I am an OG. I do still have time. I'm an OG crypto fan. So like I used to like look. I used to like
I'm
look.
not like other cryptid fans.
Yes, not like other crypto fans. But I used to like look for fan art of the Flatwoods Monster and not be able to find any. So I'm happy now because there's so much more. But so the Flatwoods Monster, the first sighting, and really I think this is like the only sighting that I'm aware of. I mean, there might have been others reported, but like the main one just happened once. And so it was September 12th, 1952 in Flatwoods. And that is in, I've forgotten the county, sorry. But it is a bright object was seen in the sky by it's two boys. They were brothers, and then their friend, another boy. They saw this bright object flash in the sky, and so they went and they got their mom and like two other kids and a National Guardsman to go investigate. And so they reported seeing, when they went to this hill, it was like on a farmer's land, so they went to this hill to look, and they saw a pulsing red light at the top of the hill. And it was described as a man-like figure with a round red face with a pointed hood surrounding its head. And so let me get some pictures up here of the Flatwoods Monster. after that, there were like some other descriptions that varied a little bit. I'll get into that later, but first I'm gonna get the pictures. If I can find them. I've got so many pictures on my desktop right now. There we go. Okay, so this is... I'm just gonna cover my face because it's a big picture. That is the size compared to a human is what was reported to be. And so later, Kathleen May, the boy's mother, she said she saw small claw-like hands and clothing-like folds and an ace of spade head. It was also reported to be 10 feet tall, that it made a hissing sound and glided forward at the group. And then also that there was a pungent mist that, like, nauseated the people who were there that day. That, like, it was like a fog, I guess, surrounding it. And then the next day, people reported seeing skid marks and, like, it was described as an odd gummy deposit on the ground in the area. And so the police investigated, a possible aircraft crash. They couldn't find anything. I had another picture of this, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, the one with the color, I think. I didn't grab one of the ones with the color. But here is the... Hold on. Oh, this is transparent, so you can't really see. So yeah, that is another artist depiction with the glowing red eyes. And so... Like, usually it's depicted the outfit as being green, and the face is also usually depicted as being red, sometimes the hands too. Some possible explanations, so the bright light, there was a meteor that was reported on that day in Maryland, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia, so there was a meteor reported, and then also, both the Flatwoods Monster and Mothman, I'm gonna be real, they kind of look like owls. If you like, they kind of look like barn owls. But so
yeah,
just gonna be real, we might just have a lot of owls. But
To be fair, owls are spooky.
They are pretty spooky. So the Flatwoods Monster also has popped up in pop culture quite a bit. There is a monster in Zelda that looks like the Flatwoods Monster, and this is actually, so like, I think it's either the 80s or the early 90s. There was like a UFO boom in Japan, and the Flatwoods Monster got like exported over there. So it pops up in Japanese video games like Zelda. I wonder if I can find a picture of that one.
Aired in Toho too.
Oh, is it? Awesome.
Yeah, and what's not into... No.
I think also Persona, but that's kind of a
like
given.
A buffet.
And everybody knows like Persona Mothman, but I don't know if there's a Persona Flatwoods Monster. There might be.
Persona Mothman, like Sans Undertale.
Persona Mothman. Mothman Persona.
On Persona, yeah.
Oh my gosh, where I saved the picture, but I don't know where it... Okay, there's so many things on my desktop. Yeah, it was Majora's Mask. It's this one. And that was really interesting to me, like, when I was a kid and learning about this, because I thought it was cool that something from here that was honestly pretty obscure, especially back then, had actually been exported and wound up in, like, video games that I played. I thought that was really cool.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, so the Flatwoods Monster is a bit dear to my heart because of that. And so the last one that I have to share is Mothman, of course. Everybody knows Mothman, everybody loves Mothman, for good reason. Mothman is indeed the best. Oh, CCT asked, what if barn owls are cryptids?
Oh my
Believe it.
gosh,
I believe
still
it.
get scared. You know the Fourth Kind?
Mhm.
They had a trailer
Oh
for the
my
Fourth
Yeah,
Kind.
I've seen that movie. Yeah.
there was a trailer that transformed a owl head into an alien head, and the idea was like, while you were watching it, was like every now and then you would see this big owl or you would see this big alien, and your brain would just rationalize it into an owl.
Oh man.
That's so scary.
So maybe the cryptids aren't owls. The owls are the cryptids, as CCG suggests.
If owls are cryptids, then they need to be more subtle, because certain times of year we just hear nothing but mating owls outside the house, and I'm so done with it. It's the worst sound.
Yeah, there was a very noisy owl when I was growing up also. I never saw him, but I heard him.
Also, we had a shriek owl, or like one that would actually like scream. It was a lot.
Oh no.
Yeah. Later I'll have to find the recording I took of these owls and link y'all, because it's something.
Yes, share us the scream owls. Archie says, "I'm a cryptid and I have half of a fursona design for a barn owl." So it's all all connecting the dots.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's all connected. Illuminati.
It all comes back.
Yes.
Oh no.
The owls are the missing link.
Oh no.
So let me get a picture of, and I'm gonna start with this picture because it's the one that like it's an older. I think it may be from John Keel's book, but it's the one that I like first saw when I was a kid, and it made such an impression on me. So to me, Mothman will always look like this in my mind. Just the big feathery with the eyes and like no discernible like arms. This is Mothman in my heart. CCG says Godzilla versus Mothman.
Yes.
Mothman
I love
wins.
this
Mothman is shaped like a friend, and so like when I was a little kid, I came into like a classroom at school, and somebody had left a presentation they did, and it like had a picture of Mothman on it. Was like I guess on cryptids, and it had a big picture of Mothman on it. I was like, oh, what is that?
Oh no.
What is that?
Oh no.
TAZ Amnesty. I am not familiar with that.
The Mothman's pretty good in that one. It's the Adventure Zone podcast. They had their like spooky cryptid arc, which was set in West Virginia, and they did have a Mothman. So
that makes sense because they're from West Virginia.
Yeah, they are. Yeah,
So...
it was very them.
Yeah,
but yeah. They had a Mothman in there. His other name was Indrid. He was very cute.
Ah, that's cool.
Oh.
So also let me get the statue up here. It's horribly ugly. It's terrible, but also it's ours. So
it's our horrible, ugly.
It's our
terrible
horrible,
thing.
ugly Mothman statue. And if there is a vine out there of someone slapping the butt, because it does have a butt on it. I only have a front view. There's that. As you can see, it's sure something. But
oh man.
Yeah.
Somebody was horny for the Mothman.
Yeah.
Very clearly.
And so, yeah, that statue is in Point Pleasant. I've never seen it in person. I should someday, and I should touch the butt, but I have not.
What's the pleasant in Point Pleasant?
He puts the pleasure.
Yeah.
It's a reach, but I don't even care.
But the first sighting of Mothman was November 15th, 1966, and the sightings lasted up through December 15th, 1967, which is an important date, and we will get back to that. But the initial sightings, it was two young couples who were driving in their cars, like, separately. They described a large flying man with a 10-foot wingspan. The eyes glowed red, and it like followed their car like at the speed. Like that's a recurring theme, that it was like as fast enough to keep up with their car. And so this was in the TNT area, which I mentioned earlier with the sheep squatch. And that is it's a place where, like, during wartime they made munitions there. Now it's like it's called a wildlife management area. It's basically like a wildlife preserve kind of. You can hunt there though, and you can camp there. I would like to camp there someday, to camp in the Mothman place, but yeah, so but at the time it was like just formerly a munitions area. So in 1975, there was a book called The Mothman Prophecies, and this was written by a man named John Keel. I have not read it. It looks absolutely wild. I would like to read it. But he's the one who popularized the theory that the Mothman appeared to warn people of impending doom, because the Mothman was supposedly sighted around the Silver Bridge when it collapsed. And so the Silver Bridge is a bridge over the Ohio River it was on Route 65, and it went from Point Pleasant, West Virginia to Gallipolis, Ohio. And it collapsed at 5 p.m. on a Friday, so it was rush hour. It was bumper to bumper traffic. 46 people died. 26 survived, something like that. But yeah, 46 people died. 2 bodies were never found. And I believe that. I'm not sure if I got the picture of it before, but there's a picture of the Silver Bridge that supposedly has a Mothman sighting on it. I'm trying to find the one that has it, like, zoomed in, because you can't really see it otherwise. Okay, I got it. Although this, like, the timestamp on this is 2003, so I don't know, but as you can see, there's a Mothman-like shape there. But yeah, so John Keel popularized that theory that Mothman appears to warn people of impending disasters. And then also, like, there have been reports about, like, so I couldn't really find a lot of solid stuff, but there have been claims that there are people who, like, didn't want to come forward about it, that reported being attacked by the Mothman. Honestly, I couldn't find anything super solid there. But there have been sightings reported since then. And so also, like, some of the sightings of the sheep squatch was people looking for the Mothman in the area, and they saw the sheep squatch instead. God. Like the Navy officer mentioned, he was looking for Mothman that day.
Wow.
So
hilarious.
Wrong cryptid.
Yep, wrong cryptid.
Honestly, I believe that more than just like, oh, I was just out. It's like, no, I was looking for something. I was looking for Mothman, and I didn't find Mothman.
Yeah. I found the wrong cryptid.
Yeah, I think that's hilarious.
And so
Mothman walked so Chief Squatch could run.
And there's one
for the team.
There's one other photo that is, like, supposedly a Mothman sighting, and it's a lot more. I don't remember when this is from. It's a lot more recent though. And so this one is speculated to actually be a heron, because there are herons here. I have seen them. They are very large. So
yeah,
that
looks like a burb.
Yeah, it looks like a bird with a frog. It looks like a heron with a frog. So there's that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so then there was also a theory that maybe a sandbill crane had somehow made its way up here. I think that they are native to Florida, actually.
Yes. Sandbill cranes are very big, very large.
Yeah, and so they're not normally around here. So if one had managed to make it up here, people wouldn't have known what it was. And they have like a 6-7 foot wingspan. So
yeah.
Maybe. Maybe. And then also...
That's bonkers.
Sandhill cranes, the biggest thing that's scary about them and, like, I think it's, like, I forgot what they're called. They're some kind of stork. Like, they do not fear God. They will stand between you and the door to a Waffle House and just look at you. and
my
it'd be
God.
like, "Are you gonna come close?" And the thing is, they won't hurt you when you do it, but they sure as heck will look like it.
Oh no. Yeah,
Yeah.
They hear nothing.
yeah. So like the herons that are here are already pretty big, and I've seen them only occasionally. So something even bigger than that would be pretty scary.
Mhm.
Birds are scary. They scare me. One time I was camping and a peacock just walked through our campsite, just casually
that's
at a
so
slight
funny.
distance, and we were like, we're not gonna go near that thing. First, because it might be a fae, and second, because they're mean. I have video of it
Big
though.
mood.
See, on a crane tangent, it's like I mentioned, we live in the middle of the woods. It's like I don't live next to water. Like there's a stream out back, but like I don't live by water per se.
Mhm.
One winter, I look out my front window. There is just a crane in our front yard, just chilling, like a real big old crane. And like, where did you come from? Why would you be in the middle of the woods? And then I looked at it for a minute, and it flew away. And I have a lot of questions to this day about that.
Where did you come from, and where did you go?
Yeah,
Where did you-
where did you go? Why are you in the middle of woods?
Where did you come from? Where did you go?
So many questions.
So I grew up like near a creek, like it was at the bottom of our hill, so that I've seen herons occasionally in our creek, and that made sense. But yeah, I would be confused if there weren't water there.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a stream, like yeah, same thing down the bottom of the hill out back our house. There's like a little stream, but like not large enough to be supporting a crane just being there.
Yeah,
So that was interesting.
yeah. They cranes, yeah, like we saw them only very occasionally. I don't think any of them like lived there. We had ducks, and when I was a child, we also had a one goose. I will tell the goose story because so I don't remember this. It has only
Oh
been
my
told
God.
to me because I was very very small. But so we would go down and feed the ducks sometimes, and there was a goose that had moved in with the ducks that were there, and it like kind of like considered itself a duck, I guess, or as part of their flock, and it thought
Aw.
me, Tiny Rem, was a threat to its ducks, and so like I was just trying to feed him some bread, and my parents looked and they saw me tearing across the garden screaming, being chased by a goose that thought I was a threat.
Scary.
I don't
Geese are another like kind of animal, just another bird that does not fear God.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
really don't. They really don't. But I'm glad I don't remember because it sounds terrifying. It was like as big as me at the time.
Geese and swan.
So I can
Yep,
imagine.
swans. Yeah, swans are terrifying.
Swans and
Swans are
geese.
so scary.
Yeah.
Geese are scary, but at least they like tell you that they're about to bite you. They like
True.
start to hiss, stuff like that.
They scream and show their
swans, on
teeth.
the other hand, just like
Swans is just on site.
yeah.
When I was in Australia, we saw black swans, which they got there, and they were just like in these roving gangs
Oh,
on the side
no.
of the river.
Mhm.
You just see like 5 to 6 of these black swans just walking up to people, and it's like you pretty much had to offer them like your food if you had it, because otherwise they're just gonna sit there and look
Oh,
very
no.
threatening.
Yeah.
They
swans
would
are
steal your
scary.
lunch money.
They
Yeah.
would steal your lunch money. They really did seem that way.
As CCT says in chat, he has been chased by geese before, and it's not fun. Once geese make you their target, they don't leave you alone.
No, they do
No,
not.
no, they don't give
there
up.
was a goose that was so my high school was behind a shopping center, and that shopping center had a little retention pond in it that had like a fountain to try to make it look not like just a retention pond, but it was just a retention pond. And there was a goose that lived there with a bunch of ducks. Also, the ducks were mean too. So, like, it was just a bunch of like bully waterfowl, and they, but that goose, like, my friend Vanessa has 100% fought that goose in combat. Like, actually had a fight with this
Hand-to-hand combat.
Did she win?
I don't remember. She got out alive, so I was assuming yes, because geese do not fight for to let you go.
Yeah, yeah. So I have a friend who has spent her entire life preparing for a confrontation with a goose. She's ready to fight a goose. She has strategized. She's like, if this happens, it's time.
It's my time.
CCT, I remember you talking about that. CCT's an old friend, so his college had a pond, and the geese would lay eggs in the bushes, and then like they would sit near the entrances and chase you from the doors because their eggs were near them.
What do you mean?
I've ever been
God.
chased by a goose, but I've definitely been chased by seagulls, and that sucks about as
Oh
much.
no.
Seagulls can be
Oh
so
my God.
mean.
Yeah,
They're just air rats. They
they really are.
Yeah.
I think they have more guts than rats.
Honestly,
That's
yeah.
If a rat could fly, then maybe.
Yeah. If a rat was emboldened by the power of spite.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
That's
Like
worked in
Prometheus and the Flame.
like 3 of the 4 big theme parks in Orlando. Seagulls are no joke.
So while we're on scary animal confrontation stories, so when I was a child, I had to walk up the hill from my bus, and because bus couldn't get up the hill, so not that hill anyway. So I would have to walk up the hill from the bus, and so for a while we had some rats, like wild rats, that had gotten like onto our property. And they were in the garage stealing. Yes, both ways, Archie. They were in the garage, and because they like to steal our dog food. And so I got to the top of the hill, and there was a rat just standing there near a dog bowl, just looking at me. And I looked at it, and it looked at me, and I didn't know what else to do, so I hissed at it. And it ran away, and I was victorious.
Honestly, I feel like that's a solid way to deal with most animals. So
Just like
Yeah.
get out of the way. Hissing is pretty universally just like get away from me.
Like, I'm
Yeah,
bigger than
so
you.
I didn't know until we moved to the woods that deer hiss. And the
Oh.
first time I heard, yeah, they
No.
hiss, and
No, they don't.
they do hiss. And the
No,
first
they
time I heard
don't.
that, it's
No,
oh my god! So
don't.
the first
That
time I heard
wasn't a
this,
deer, son.
see, the first time I heard this, I was taking my dog out for a walk, and about midnight, so it was dark outside because we don't have streetlights on our road. And so I'm walking out in the dark with this dog, and I just hear this ungodly noise, and I like turn the flashlight and just see something bounding away that I later figure out was a deer.
Oh.
I'm like, I died. Like I felt my heart just jump out of my body.
So
I
this
cannot
is
believe your hiss.
this
What?
is how cryptid reports happen.
No.
Uh-huh.
Deer hissing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and since then I've heard it like from them during the daytime, so I know it's them. But man,
Man, I've
when
never
threatened,
heard.
they do hiss.
No, they don't.
So he
I-
refuses.
Okay, I promise you, what you heard was a snort. That's what it
Okay.
was.
All right, well it's a
I know-
hissing type sound.
Yeah, it sounds like a rush of steam. Like, it sounds like that, but I promise it's a snort. It's not a hiss.
It's a hissing enough sound. It's enough that it's a bad sound in the middle of the night.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that is all
Dear
that I
me.
have on cryptids. Did anybody else have anything that they wanted to cover?
Oh yeah, I was.
Mhm.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just reminded of omens of bad times when you were talking about that guy who popularized the idea. I remember this one cool furry thing that comes out of the ocean sometimes to tell people things. But yeah. But then I was like, oh, we're gonna leave it on Mothman, so I wanted to leave it on
No,
Mothman.
that I was just gonna do Mothman last of the ones that I had. Y'all could keep talking about cryptids.
You want to know
Oh, okay.
the scariest cryptid to me? I wasn't gonna bring this
Yeah.
up because I'm scared of them.
Oh,
They're called
Mhm.
night crawlers,
Ah,
and I hate them.
Oh.
I hate them so much. Let me get their pants.
oh
They're
yeah,
just pants.
I love
Oh.
night crawlers
Why
because
are
they're
they like
that?
just pants.
Their
What's
pants.
wrong
I
with
don't-
walking pants?
I'm so afraid of them.
Oh no, I'm so sorry. They're
No,
the
not the
funniest
comic.
thing I've ever seen.
I don't know why. Like, I can
Wait.
get why they are funny. I can really get why they're funny. But whenever I see them, like, this chill goes down my spine. I am just
Yeah,
so
like-
afraid of them.
They're coming for you.
Like-
They want you to wear them.
I mean, the way they move is definitely unsettling, but I'm
It
pretty
is
sure
so
knives-
unsettling. It's so scary. I'm
Okay,
gonna try to
wait. No,
get
I get it. I get it. It's scary. I don't like it. I think
good
it's,
news
there's something about like mundane objects in like threatening scenarios that is
Mhm.
like really unsettling and
Here,
spooky.
I got a picture. I'll put it
Okay,
up.
but
Yeah.
the good news is it's really easy to fake.
Yeah. So
yeah.
there,
Oh my
there's
God,
video.
You know the sweatshirt stuff? When people get the really big sweatshirt and then they
Yeah.
put their legs and arms. Yeah.
Mhm, yeah.
But it's so frightening when I see the things. It's just so frightening.
Aw.
Like I am so afraid of night crawlers. I don't know why. It's just like, why are these spooky men out here? Why are they walking?
It's like the meme of like shaped like a friend, but the
Oh.
nightcrawler is like not shaped like a friend, shaped like a threat. It's shaped like a threat.
That reminds me, Archie wanted me to share the recent Canadian cryptid, and I wanted to do that when Archie was here, so I will do that. Hopefully Archie's still here. I have to get the tweet. But there was a recent Canadian cryptid discovered recently. It's really loading really slowly. I don't know why. Oh, because it opened
The
Firefox.
Nightcrawler, them walking, all I can just think is, oh, you can tell by the way I use my.
Let me hold on, let me open, because I stream in Chrome because that's where my captioner only works in Chrome, but I use Firefox for everything else. And it tried to open, and that wanted to destroy my computer.
Oh dear.
So the headline on our humanoid encounters is Canada mountain creature caught running behind Google Earth car. And this is the
Whoa.
picture.
Oh, can you put in Discord too? My stream on Twitch is
think
having
they,
issues loading.
I think they posted it like you just have to scroll up in the text chat.
Yeah, they
Okay.
did. I haven't put it on the stream yet. I'm still getting it pulled up, so it's not there yet.
Yeah, it's right before Sushi no Go.
Yeah, it's at 9:56 p.m.
So I'm gonna
I'll link
like
it again.
enlarge this because you can't really see it. There's that, and then here is the here is the. Sorry, it takes me a second when I have so many things on my desktop. Here is like the cutout of this creature.
Don't like that.
I've seen some good
Not a
fan
fan.
art of this thing.
I don't like him.
You're not a
There's something
fan.
Like
about
Mr.
bipedal
Potato.
with no arms that I think that's what I think that's what gets me, is just like legs and no arms. Scary for a fern.
Yeah, I can
I
understand
mean, for
that.
a julep.
I can understand that.
Yeah, yeah, legs and no arms. This one, it looks like it wouldn't have any fur or anything, so it's just like some weird skin, and that's also not
that
great.
does look, yeah, a bit. That does look a little creepy texturally.
Mm-hmm.
With the face also looks like,
Like
a little monkey
Fluffy
face.
Mr. Potato Head.
You want to know the first thing that came to my head when I saw this? The Canada Cone Man.
Canada
Oh?
Cone Man?
Tell us of the Cone Man.
Because it's shaped like a cone.
Oh, okay, yes, I see. Yes, it does look like a cone. Yeah, but like I can understand that. And like, so if you do look up the video of of the night crawlers. It is kind of creepy to watch them move. However, if something looks like pants, it's funny to me. And this is like a primal response on my part. Probably as primal as your fear response is. Pants are funny to me. So, however, if I saw that in real life, I probably would be scared.
Yeah. I actually get really creeped out by like cryptid stuff all the time.
Yeah, my only other personal cryptid-esque sighting, which again is just the woods are bad. Everything in the woods is bad.
Yeah.
But I was driving out of the neighborhood one night to go to 7-Eleven for something. It was like, probably around midnight. You know, nice bright moon outside. You can kind of see a lot, but everything is tree shadows. I'm driving, and like suddenly my sister looks out the window at something, and I look at it, and there's this big gray fox just standing on the hill, like near somebody's house, and the face did look like some old man human face, and like we just looked at this fox, and it just looked at us, and then I just kept driving because I'm like, I'm not going to address this.
No, just thank you, sir. I'm moving on with my day.
Thank you for protecting these woods or whatever you're doing here. You keep on your business, and we're good now.
Yep.
Yeah. Things just scare me all the time. The biggest, like, there was a video that went around on Tumblr of, like, this person running very, very fast, and it was definitely a person, and they were definitely running very, very fast. It might have been, like, a sped-up video or something like that, but, as the camera points at him, the flash catches in his eyes like it's an animal.
Oh.
That's scary.
Yeah, that would probably scare me. I'm more scared of people than I am of anything supernatural. RCS, Metal Gear Solid.
Well, I mean...
Fox.
Well, I mean, like, if that flash that happens when you point like a camera at like a dog's eyes or stuff like that, that doesn't happen in humans.
So there is a photo of me, and there's a photo of me, and in this photo, my eyes have. So I have blue eyes in real life, so sometimes I get red eye. That's normal. However, in this photo, in addition to the red eye, my eyes are surrounded like by a halo of black. Like my eyes are like blurry black with red.
What the hell?
It's
well,
horrifying.
You were a cryptid.
Yes, I am indeed a cryptid. And actually, I'm hoping next month I might be able to actually commission my cryptid form as an avatar, and you'll get to see when my eyes turn red.
So
God.
one of my cousins, he's like pretty. He's kind of like, he has like the blonde, blue-eyed sort of thing. He had very, very light blue eyes, and one time when he was very little, me and my sister will both swear up and down on this, like, he got angry at us for some reason because, children do, and like we saw his eyes just flash red.
Oh.
Scary.
Yeah, like Archie says, human eyes don't reflect light in the same way as animals, because animals have night vision, like the film in their eyes. Yeah. So yeah, that is pretty creepy.
So creepy.
Julep, for creepy fast things, do you know about Turbo Granny?
I love Turbo Granny.
Oh
yes,
no,
it's one of the other great Japanese urban legends. It's Turbo Granny. She's an old woman who runs really fast, and it's like, I can't remember, it's like if you outrun her, she kills you, or if you don't outrun her, she kills you, or something. But it's just an old woman who runs. Yeah, she runs super fast, and there's like a bunch of variations on Turbo Granny. It's like basketball granny and like hopping granny, but it's all like just like some like super powered old woman that wants you to die for some reason.
Turbo Granny is so good.
Scary.
We respect Turbo Granny.
I'm gonna die. Yeah, it's just that's just how it's gotta happen, I guess.
I love how Japanese urban legends are always like, you're fucked.
Yeah,
it's like, no matter what you do, you're gonna die. Yeah.
By the way, speaking of Japanese folklore, do you want to know what I just found that gave me my second existential crisis today?
What?
Oh?
What is that?
So, when we were listening to Hanao talk about some yokai, I got a little curious, and Siren Head. I got a little curious. I looked up some like Japanese like legendary creatures, like cryptids, yokai, and stuff. And when I get to the eyes, it turns out there's this lake monster, and its name is Issy.
Oh, wait. I think I know which one.
Issy,
say,
you
right?
have a friend.
I
You
am.
gotta become friends with that one.
Like ISSEI, you say?
ISSIE. Or like, it's pronounced like
Yeah.
Ishi in
Yeah.
ECA.
well, it says like, I think like that's the Romanized version. Like the actual pronunciation is like Ishi.
It would be Ishi. Ishi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, said to lurk in Lake Ikeda on Kyushu Island. Described as being saurian in appearance. The naming convention is analogous to Nessie.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So if you were gonna write your name in katakana, it would probably be written the same way. That is true. That is true.
That's where my family's from.
Oh,
Oh,
Kyushu.
cool.
Mm-hmm. Kumamoto and Hiroshima.
Nice.
very
Um,
cool.
I know you were talking about cryptids and stuff that were creepy. And I know I just quickly wanted to shout out my favorite, which is apparently one of the creepiest, is the Jersey Devil.
Oh,
Yeah,
Jersey.
Jersey Devil's pretty scary.
So, as I mentioned actually earlier, I have relatives in New Jersey. So, like, that's my dad's side of the family is mostly like originally from here, but a lot of them live in New Jersey now. And so one of my uncles swears he saw the Jersey Devil. However, the story changes every time. I've never heard him tell it directly either. But my sisters would go up there like sometimes during the summer, and I usually wouldn't go. So apparently he kept telling this story, and it would change every time he told it. It was something about like being in the woods, and he saw the Jersey Devil was like in a hole or something. And he swore that he saw it and that he had to run away from it.
It's not my story to tell because I don't remember it mainly, but I know that my best friend Vanessa, her family on her dad's side is Tejano, which is Mexican in Texas. And they have chupacabra stories.
Ah.
Ooh, yeah. Chupacabra. That's just the stuff. I remember hearing a lot of stories about it from one of my friends who lives in like Arizona and is Latinx, but like,
Mhm.
oh man, the way they tell is really spooky.
It's just blood-sucking goat, bat.
Yep.
Dog.
Yep.
Goat,
find
dog, creature.
Mhm.
Really interesting just how chupacabras like appearance and stuff like actually evolved with time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like it has an indigenous origin, but I'm not sure.
I'm
Mhm.
not sure about
Like,
that one. That is possible. But definitely as it exists now is pretty far from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to ask my friend.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but the omen I was talking about, it's called Amabiko, and it looks like I'll send a picture.
Okay.
Dee-dee-dee-dee.
I know, like, just really quickly, I know, ooh, what a boy. I just remember, like, I read somewhere about the Jersey Devil, like, apparently, like, one of the reports is, like, it was probably just to hype it up, but,
Mhm.
like, apparently its breath is so rancid that it instantly curdles milk.
Yeah, that's like a
Ooh.
thing.
Damn.
Isn't the Jersey
That's
Devil also
impressive.
the one that has hoof prints up the side of buildings and stuff like
Mhm.
that?
Yep.
I haven't heard that part.
So I
Or
mean,
is
he
that
has
just the
hoofs
devil
and
in general?
he flies. So he has
Yeah.
hoofs and wings.
God,
But there's like certain like colonial towns that like in the plaster of their not plaster in the stuff that was wet and now is hard in their houses, like on at a weird angle, like a 90-degree angle from the ground. There's just hoof prints going up.
Ah, that's really
Like-
cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who's this
Oh.
cute little guy?
Oh, so the
This
fox.
is Amabiko.
Oh, Amabiko. Yes.
Oh wait, sorry, would somebody post something else?
Oh, I was gonna say the fox that Sun reminded me of actually reminded me that like so I listen to a lot of translated Japanese urban legends and like the equivalent of creepypasta, and then also like there's a tradition of like it's sort of similar to stand-up comedy, and actually a lot of comedians also do it, but it's storytelling rather than comedy. And so there's a lot of that, and I like to listen to translations of those, and there's even like in the more modern things, there's a lot of stuff about kitsune and kitsune possession, which is fox spirits. And there was a really interesting story about like, so it was a girl talking about Kokuri-san, and Kokuri-san is like the equivalent of the Ouija board, but like you write it out yourself, and you use a 10 yen coin for the planchette basically, and it's supposed to be a combination of it could be a fox, it can be a tanuki, and it could be what's the other one? Is the other one just like an inu, like an inugami? I don't. It's three different things. And it's called Kokuri-san. And there was a story about someone who didn't believe that it was real, and their classmate was like claiming that it was, and so she told him, or whoever the narrator was, she told the story about a game of Kokuri-san in which like it wound up with some other kids dying, and then at the end she said, also when I was born I had droopy eyes. And the reason that was like a big thing is because when people are possessed by kitsune, the slanted upward eyes is a mark of that. So that was implying that she had been possessed by Kokuri-san for like 10 years.
Wow.
Since her childhood when she played the game.
Damn.
It's really cool. I'll link to some of those like podcasts and sites later on Twitter because I really enjoy those.
Yeah, that is
I
really
need more of those.
God, I love Japanese horror.
It's very good.
Yeah.
I was saying earlier in chat, that's actually what inspired me to do this whole series, because our first one we got together telling like spooky stories that we had experienced ourselves, and there were some really good ones. The haunted lamp is a standout. The haunted lamp story.
Yeah.
But
Definitely.
but I had been listening to those, and like there's just something about like the atmosphere of someone like getting online and like telling a story that they're claiming has actually happened to them, you know? There's like something about that feeling that I really like, and so I just wanted to do that with some other VTubers too.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah. It's very cool, and I think that's very, very fun to do that. Yeah, I mentioned before the stream, like, I think creepypastas would be good. I have some history with Slender Man.
Yeah. We should definitely do that.
Say it
Special
like
history.
like he's a bad ex. Yeah.
Like, honestly, that's kind of not like really, but like kind of.
No
Like-
details will be given, but at one point there was Slenderman erotica on my PC. At one point in my life.
How can there not be details
Lizzie,
given?
hey,
Because
how are you not giving
this is a
details now?
PG-13
Not giving us
stream.
the link,
I'm
guys.
sorry. I don't know if I still have it. Like, My ex sent it to me at some point during our relationship. It was. I might still have it. I can
For
send it
some
to you if
added
I still
spice,
have
I
it.
guess.
But yeah, like.
But
at
I
some
will
point
not
I'd
speak
like
of it
to do
here.
Creepypasta readings or
Creepypasta
like,
readings would be fun.
or even just like retelling of them, because I feel like there's a different energy of like, let me tell you about this creepypasta I read that really freaked me out. That's like almost better than the creepypasta itself.
Oh my god, I can't wait to do that. I can do voices for them.
Yeah, that would be so fun. We should definitely do that. And Archie also suggests picking bad creepypasta readings, which would also be so fun, and we should definitely do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be really
Crappy
funny.
pasta. We do creepypasta and crappy pasta.
Crappy pasta.
Depending on how into it I get to research it, I might need some crappy pastas to even out the Slender Man, because I still
Understandable.
very afraid.
Huh?
But
Or okay.
oh, like not good, not good. For once
Okay.
in my life, I'm not thirsting out after a monster. For once in my
There
life,
are some
Incredible.
exceptions.
this is the one monster Fern won't boink. Julep won't boink. Oh, that's right. We were going to possibly. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, now we've devolved into which cryptids will you boink?
Which cryptids will. I mean,
All of them almost.
Important distinction, right? Wait, can I talk about Amabiko first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
And then
I'll put it back up.
who I think is rather cute.
so cute.
But anyways, yeah. Right? Kinda, right? I don't know exactly what it reminds me of, but kind of like a thumb, maybe.
Yeah.
But like a tripedal thumb.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, so the description is like Amabiko are mysterious yokai which emerge from the sea to deliver prophecies. They look ape-like with protruding mouths, round eyes, and big ears. Their bodies are covered in thick, long hair. They're usually said to have 3 legs, although some sightings of 4-legged Amabiko have been reported. And my hypothesis is like how sometimes you see like 3-legged turtles, sea turtles, right? Because Amabiko come from the sea. So I just like theorize that they just lose them to sharks. They're just yeah. So that's why there's some that are 4-legged, some that are 3-legged, but they don't see them very much because because they're more like Mothman, you know, the big disaster stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so because they've only appeared a few times in history and like briefly, because they just come out of the ocean, and they're like, you know, they deliver a prophecy, and then it usually foretells a period of like good stuff happening, followed by like disaster and disease and famine and that kind of thing. And then it just tells people like, oh, take my selfie and then use it as protection against the disease.
Oh, so this is one of the there are a few, but this is one of the things that Absol is based on, the Pokemon.
Yeah.
I believe.
Wait, really?
I think
Oh.
so. I think so.
Wait, yeah. Huh.
I'm pretty sure. Absol's one of my favorite Pokemon, so
Yeah. But yeah, I picked this one because this one's like native, I guess, to the place where my family's from, Kyushu region.
Did
But
you
yeah.
get into business like the Swamp Squatch and sell the selfies?
Yeah.
Yeah, as
protection charm.
like a little Ofuda and like
Exactly, yeah.
talismans.
I would love
make it like those like bathroom selfies, and he has like one of the 2 legs up on, or one of the 3 legs
I
up on the
would love-
counter with
I
the
would
phone.
love to have I would love to have a bumper sticker with that face on it. I
Yes.
just it feels good.
I
It is
showed
a
you
vibe. It's an
I want
entire
your
vibe.
reply.
oh, so the one that I think has been, it's the Kutabe is the one that the Absol might be based on, and as well as a similar Chinese monster called the Baize. But yeah, the Kutabe. So I was remembering correctly, but it's very similar to this one.
Very cool.
Yeah, and then wait, did I have one more? Oh, I was just gonna talk about Kappa because my grandpa had a local story about one.
Oh.
Yeah. So he grew up on the Big Island, which is like the newest island of Hawaii, the one with all the volcanoes still on it. And like way back when. So this was when Hawaii was segregated. Well, kind of like segregated and socially, but not like legally, I guess. But you wouldn't be able to get into a white school, basically.
Yeah.
So there were Japanese schools and or just like schools where just like Japanese immigrants and Filipino immigrants, Asian immigrants, and indigenous students went. This one was like predominantly Japanese, though, I think. And so like a lot of the students were second generation or first generation. They were born in the islands. So a lot of them like knew the stories and stuff that they were told growing up. And there was this pond near the school where like they would go after like playing soccer and things like that to cool off, or like after school to go swimming. And then my grandpa, he had older sister and then one older brother and I think one younger brother. But it was a story about his older brother, but he was there when they were like by the pond's edge, and then like an older student was telling them a story about like how there was a boy who drowned in the pond, and it was like a pretty nondescript story, just kind of like, oh yeah, like boo, you know. And they're like yeah, now he like watches over the pond or whatever, or like he doesn't want students to swim in the pond. And then like he was talking about how his brother told him later that like when he was swimming, his leg got caught on something, and it pulled him like down, and he couldn't like feel like where it was, basically like on his leg, like because you know when you get stuck or something on like coral or like you know something underwater, you can usually tug it free or something. But he was having issues because it felt like it would let go of him and then grab him again, and it like he panicked too. So usually like when you run out of air, you're kind of told to just like stay still to preserve oxygen and not like work your muscles. So that's what he did, and eventually like it let go and he was able to swim back to the surface, and he was like really shaken. But then he like told my grandpa that story, and then like he didn't swim in the pond again, and like some other kids did, but they never had that experience and stuff. And then his older brother told him it was probably like a kappa because that's what their dad told them and things like that.
That's really scary. Again, because I can't swim very well at all. I am terrified by the prospects.
Yeah, drowning for me is like very, very scary, I guess. I don't like it's kind of like I guess claustrophobia. Like that's how it feels for me. I love swimming and I love the ocean, but like I have a respect for it, a healthy respect and fear, you know, because of how powerful it is.
I trust
all the things in it that we don't know.
I trust no water that I can't see into all the way.
Or if you can, but you just can't tell the depth.
Yeah, I personally find like rivers scarier than the ocean because river water is usually murky and you can't really see that well. But ocean water is typically clear, or at least like, you know, sand is light colored, or unless you're at a black beach or black sand beach, then that's a whole nother story. Then you're kicking rocks that you can't even see. But yeah, and I have some like local stories too, like local folklore and stuff that are kind of passed down. Like one is like a Hawaiian goddess that kind of everybody knows. I don't know if you guys know like the like Western tale of like the woman in white, women wearing white or something. It's kind of like that.
Like is that like
basically like somebody you see at the side of a road, basically, and then they ask to get a ride. She's like that, but like more benevolent. And Pele and like in like mythos and the stories and everything, she okay, like Hawaiian like folklore and gods and stuff, it's kind of similar to like the Greek gods. There's a lot of drama and like they react very like empathetically, like you can empathize with them because their reactions are very realistic, you know. But yeah, but in all the stories and everything, she's very like helpful. And I had a friend in school where he and his dad they actually picked up a woman when they're on the Big Island visiting family. But basically, like what you're supposed to do is you'll stop for her, and she'll either appear as like an old woman. That's typically usually like old woman with long white hair, and then or like younger, but and then you stop and give her a ride. And usually people, they're not just like, oh, some old woman, I'm gonna help her. They see her and they're like, oh, that's Pele, I need to give her a ride.
Yeah, yeah.
And when she's in the car, like she'll typically ask for a cigarette, and she's the Hawaiian goddess of volcanoes. So it kind of aligns with that. But yeah, and so she'll ask for like a cigarette, and then sometimes people will be able to give it to her. But otherwise, like she'll either like give you like kind of not really a prophecy, but like advice, and then before you know it, like you'll drive a ways, and she'll either like ask to be let out, or she'll like vanish from the car. You'll kind of like forget when she left. And when my friend was on the Big Island, they were visiting family, and they were going around alongside. So you know how like it's kind of shaped like a heart, the Big Island, or like a shaka. And so they're heading towards like the thumb, basically. And around that side, like past Kona and everything, is like a lot more like lava fields. And it's also like kind of unpredictable, because that's where the lava meets the ocean, really. And they were driving down that road when they found her, and they were able to give her a ride. I don't know if they were able to give her a cigarette, but anyways, she told them like they should take a detour and then go a different way, which was like a little bit longer. But they did it because they assumed that she needed to go somewhere like along that way. And then like they were traveling in two groups. So like my cousin and his dad, and then his uncle in another car with his cousins and stuff. And then so they were driving, and then they found out later that when they reached the destination and everything, that his uncle and his cousins, like they got like car troubles, or like they got into like a minor accident. It was one of the two. And they had gone the other way. They had gone the shorter way, because that's where everybody else was where all the other cars go, basically, the main road. And they ran into car troubles. But yeah, but I think she's really neat.
That's
cool.
really cool.
Yeah, and there's some other like most like Hawaiian folklore, I think, revolves around the fact that like it predates Kamehameha, who like united the islands, aka like conquered all the islands.
Yeah.
And my stepdad, his family comes from Maui, so they were you know, most indigenous people to the islands identify as Hawaiian, but like further back, there's like people who like lived in the islands specifically and had their own cultures and dialects and things like that. And so his family was from Maui, and a lot of the folklore and ghosts and things like that kind of circulate from times of the conquest and things like that, when they had fought Kamehameha's forces and things like that. And each individual island kind of have their, like I said, own culture, right? And certain gods, I guess, that watch over them. And then I believe on Oahu, or at least the chief that was the li'i that was in charge of Oahu, his like patron god was the war god, which I can't remember his name. But yeah, pigs. Very, very important to my culture. But yeah, and there was a fight where they were driven back, forced to like surrender, and there's this place where they call it the Pali. Pali just means highway in Hawaiian, so like when people call it Pali Highway, it's just highway. But the valley leads to like a cresting hill, and they're driven back over there towards the edge of the cliff, and then rather than die to the forces, some of them jumped off and they died. And like since then, because of this like horrific and like choice, I guess, and the conflict that it caused and everything, like the place where they later built the highway is haunted by or like protected by the patron deity, because basically the lore is, or the superstition is that if you drive through the Pali, you should not have pork on you. And I don't know if you guys know, but spam is really popular in Hawaii, because we're all poor. But anyways, it's a really like integral part, I guess, of a lot of like local cuisine when it comes to like musubi and onigiri and things like that. People put spam on it, and you can get it from like 7-Eleven or whatever. So like people like driving with bentos. Like my uncle, he one time he went to 7-Eleven. He had like a bento, which had just like a little sausage in it, with just like egg, rice, and everything, but this one sausage. And when he was driving on the Pali, he had to pull over because he had like an oil leak, or like his car like broke down. And mind you, my uncle, like I can't even list the amount of cars that he's gone throughout his life, because literally almost every single one of them broke down somehow. But like, yeah, but I just say, but he thought it was like suspicious, I guess. But yeah. I know a lot of other people have experienced that kind of thing too, but you're not supposed to have pork because that's like an insult. But yeah, there's a lot of kind of stuff like that where it's like protection, or like it's like a matter of like respect. And if you disrespect, there are like consequences and stuff. Like I think Son, you might know if you came here, because there's like they kind of tell tourists about it, like, oh, like when you come to the islands, don't take any like rocks back with you. Don't take lava rocks back with you. Like you can take coral and stuff because that's like a living creature, that's a bone. But that's not part of the islands technically. But you never take lava, because that is like part of the land, the Aina and Pele herself. And there are a lot of people, like there's a museum at Mauna Kea where like they have like rocks and stuff that people have sent back with letters about what happened. And I think there was one where the person literally, when they got on the plane, they tripped and broke their foot.
Oh my gosh. No.
Yeah. And and they didn't realize it at the time. It was only after they went home and a bunch of other bad shit happened that they were like, this could be it.
And taking those rocks,
Yeah, and and I particularly enjoyed those stories, and telling my boyfriend about the stories, because he has like similar stories about people who take like indigenous Native American artifacts and things like that. But I like stories that are kind of like, the land fights back kind of thing.
I have to assume that there's no rules about coconuts, because my sister did smuggle a coconut back in her
coconut's just the plant. Yeah. I got worried because we went to when I was visiting on the Big Island, because my great uncle lives there, so we went once, and we went to a black sand beach, because the Big Island is like kind of famous for black sand beaches, which is basically just lava rock beaches, which really hurt your feet. Because it's not regular sand, it's kind of crunchy, but basically it's really cool though, because the water is just like black. That material that like those scientists made, where it just absorbs all light, like it looks like the water is made out of that, because there's just everything is black. The rocks are lava, like the rocks that are bigger and not ground down into like sand are lava, so they're black, and then the sand is black, and then and because it's like a new beach relatively, which is why it's a black sand beach, there aren't that much like coral and things like that, so it's just all black. And when we were at the beach, when I was treading water, I had ended up kicking so many rocks. I had cuts all on the bottom of my feet. And then when I like got out of the water and I was like limping back to like where we were off of the beach and kind of like by the trees and stuff, I saw that I had like sand embedded in my cut, like the lava rock embedded in my cut. And I was oh no, like I can't go back to Oahu like this. And then I was like, wait, does it even count if I'm just going back to another island? And I was like, I don't want to find out.
I mean, I feel like you're still like, you have not left the islands. I feel like that should be okay.
Yeah, so it turned out all right, and I am pretty sure like it healed over with the sand still inside, or it broke down because I don't really see it anymore. But
it's part of you now.
Yeah, swimming was not the play though. You should just stand at the beach. I would not recommend trying to tread water.
That sounds very
swim
painful.
around. You're just gonna hit something.
Yeah, we did go to a black sand beach when I was there, and unfortunately, we were not even allowed into the water. So
Oh yeah, those places can be kind of tumultuous, depending
yeah,
on the time of the year too.
yeah, it was
'Cause,
winter, so like the ocean didn't look great.
oh yeah, winter is when we get the biggest swells, or like winter into like ours, like technically spring. Like right now is when all the winter storms are happening, so that's when we get the big swells and all the surf events happen. But yeah, but you can't even go in the water. They always have like surf advisories and things like that.
That reminds me of another podcast that I really, really like. This is one of my favorite podcasts. It's called Spooked, and it is Glenn Washington. He's a really, really good podcast host. Like everything he does is super good. But like they have collected stories that are like again like purportedly true, and like they interview people, have them like. He tells part of it, they interview them for part of it, and there were like in one season there were some stories from a Hawaiian native, and like there was definitely some very strong like you gotta respect this or you're in trouble vibes.
Yeah, it's very important because I think like I like at my school and stuff like we were taught like values and stuff, and like malama is to like take care of each other and like the place and everything, and like I think it goes like it's kind of like a trend I see with like most like I guess like indigenous cultures that have like the same relationship to the land that like Native Hawaiians and like and some of the or most of the indigenous tribes of North America is like this respect for the land and this and in return this like very deep understanding of it, and it kind of like reflects in the culture and the religion. But yeah, but because like since like colonialization and everything, a lot of like prior systems and like ecosystems that were like really carefully observed and maintained, you know, like they didn't let indigenous people like care for the land anymore because they divided it up and everything, and so there's a lot of like lore and like creatures I guess that kind of like have emerged from that conflict, and kind of as like a karmatic balance I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know if I said that right, but
Yeah.
Well, it is coming up on 2 a.m.
Yeah,
over here.
same here.
It sure is.
Oh boy.
This has been going for 3 hours and it's been a really good time. I like thank you
Yeah,
all for doing
yeah.
this. It was so fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is very cool.
For sure. I had a lot of fun too. It was nice hearing about all of those because like I've heard about them in passing and I've seen BuzzFeed Unsolved and everything, but like actually like hearing the small town stuff is very cool.
It is.
Absolutely.
Archie says like y'all are gonna sleep. And okay, that's fair. That's true. But still, we can pretend.
I don't want to think about the ants.
Julep and I are very much night owls, but
Yeah.
This is nothing for me.
Insomniacs is the word.
Yep.
Actually.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
Night owls is a gentle term.
It's only like almost 1:45 over here.
Yeah,
it's 1:45 here also,
Yeah.
and I'll be up until 4 or 5 probably, so
Yes.
it's okay.
Yep, I have a debilitating sleep disorder, but that's okay.
Word.
Still,
And that's my story, and I'm sticking to
yep.
Maybe one day Hanao will sleep.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe.
eventually it'll happen, I believe. I mean, I do
Perhaps.
get sleep, just not a lot.
Yeah,
But
that's
there is a
mood.
schedule.
I don't
There's an
have
order
a
to the
schedule.
madness.
I have no sleep.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist.
See,
I am
yeah,
I am narcoleptic
between,
like
I
for
said,
real.
my girlfriend is in Australia, so I'm like half on Australian schedule, and I work at home, so time is an illusion.
Oh god,
So-
sorry for noises. Baby is on the desk. She has been good for most of the stream, but she is now here. And
It's baby time.
Baby time.
so
Oh, baby.
I should wrap up and give her some love. But thank you all again, and we gotta do this again next week.
For sure, yeah.
I had one more.
Oh yeah, go
Oh.
ahead. Yeah.
So amongst all the chatter of beasties and creepy events and supposed like attacks, so in my list of 3 like relatively researched cryptids, have y'all ever heard of well, I should just say, like, instead of supposedly happening, like, this is actually a thing that really did happen, and it was actually really scary. How much do y'all know about the story of the Beast of Gévaudan?
I don't know
I'm not. I
anything.
don't. Yeah, I'm not sure.
So, kind of going back into the theme of wolf-like or canine cryptids, this story takes place in good old France, where they have a province called Gévaudan. And this goes all the way back to its first reporting in 1764. And the incidents involving the beast continued until about 1767. And so, in summary, according to a 1987 study of the incidents, there's an estimate of about 610 attacks, around 500 deaths, and 98 of those deaths were of partially eaten remains.
Oh.
Jeez. Whoa.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, cited predominantly in the Gévaudan province, most often described as a large wolf or wolf-like creature. And of course, like, being the 1700s, and, you know, like, there was a lot of hysteria around wolves and such, but, like, these attacks got so notorious that France's own royalty commissioned, like, hunting intervention to track down the beast or, like, beasts in order to, like, take it down and stop killing people. And there were multiple reports of, like, hunters supposedly shooting and killing the creature, but, like, even so, like, some of the attacks still persisted. And the last one that was reported was one of Jean Chastel, who killed a pretty big wolf, you know, again, around 1776-ish. And, you know, the attacks kind of stopped after that point, so he's, like, usually credited as being the one to stop the beast. Many books, movies, and TV shows have been made in reference to the Beast of Gévaudan and its attacks. I know the leading theory is that like the wolf or dog of unusual size, like, it was theorized to be like maybe a mastiff or something, and then, like, it was also reported like its hide was unusually thick, and, like, it was speculated, like, a lot of speculation, like, goes that, like, these beasts or the beast had an owner and a trainer that was kind of like you know, like, not a very good person.
Yeah.
Kind of a psychopath. And so, like, trained this wolf dog creature to hunt and kill people. And it was supposedly dressed in, like, tanned boar leather, which is why, like, initially it was so hard to shoot down because, like, reports
Oh.
that it had like an odd coloration, and then like it was so hard to kill, and so like 500 deaths later, within 3 years, beastie got caught, shot down, and yeah, people just found even more reason to fear wolves.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because wolves really aren't that aggressive toward people in the wild, but dogs very much can be, especially if they are trained to be. And then that would also make sense if like multiple of them had been shot, if somebody was like training animals.
Yeah.
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 That's
Whoa, that's trippy.
So yeah, it's quite a tale, and unlike a lot of other cryptid stories, like this one is actually like pretty solidly based on reality. Like,
Yeah.
it actually
500 recorded deaths. I mean, during a time when records weren't super, but still, like 500. I don't think you could really like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people.
And like,
Yeah.
There's a lot of people.
And like when you get like the kingdom, like the royal officials involved, like for sure it's not going to be something that'll be forgotten in time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely.
That's very interesting because I like vampire and werewolf fiction and folklore. Like I like have spent a lot of time more so on the vampire side, kind of like studying the history of the literary genre, but also the folklore. And like if you go back far enough, especially with France and Europe, like the lines between werewolf and vampire blur a bit.
Yeah.
I am quite interested in that, so.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So
cool.
yeah,
Ominous note.
That's all 3 of my doggos for tonight.
Oh, good.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't realize that you had another, or I would have like herded it back to you sooner than that. I'm sorry.
No worries.
Yeah.
I got to it now, and that's all that matters.
Yes, and it was very good. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for your hard work.
Otsukare-sama.
Otsukare.
Oui.
Yes, omelette du fromage.
I studied French for 8 years, and I suck at it. I have a minor in French.
I took it 4 and I've forgotten it all.
Yeah, my stepdad's side of the family, they are French, but when they came over, I was like, you guys slur every word you say, and I cannot understand no matter how slow you speak.
Yep. So one of my family members, so I have family from Iran, and so like some of the extended family, she like one of the cousins had studied in France, and so like she was visiting, and they were like, oh, have a conversation with her, and I was like, so like this person that I had never met before, and our only shared language was French, and I think I was probably in high school at the time too, like studying it actively, but like just trying to have a conversation with somebody who had been in France for several years.
Yeah, it's intimidating.
It was very intimidating.
Yeah.
My wife has been learning French like recreationally like for a while now.
Oh, nice.
One of my pet names for her is Ma bijou éblouissante, which means my dazzling jewel.
Aww, that's cute. My favorite.
I know the one that's like petit chou or whatever.
I was gonna say
like my little cabbage.
yeah. Petit chou, yeah. Petit souffleur.
Petit
Yeah.
souffleur.
Yes.
Yeah, I wish I remembered any French. I mean, I remember, so I will hear things and I'll be able to understand them a little bit, but then it goes away my only experience with trying to speak French in the wild was having to stop at the de Gaulle airport, which is the worst airport I've ever been at. And I tried to ask a man what time it was because for some reason there were no clocks in this airport. I asked him in French. I know my French wasn't that bad at the time, and he just stared at me. So I'm like, fine,
Aw.
never mind.
Yeah. So my grandma took me to France when I was like 16 or 17. We visited France and London. My grandma married rich, so this is the only time I've been ever out of the country.
Good
Was
for
when she took
her.
me. Yep. So so yeah, she took me to France and London for like a week or so each. And France was terrible because I would get so, because I am a very anxious person, so people would be speaking and I would become the sheep squatching headlights. I would just shut down. I would not be able to respond. I would not be able to just say in French, speak slowly, or, I don't speak much. Because those were things that I could say. I could have very easily said them, but my brain would not allow me to say anything. And so, we were shopping, it was my birthday, and she took me to a clothing shop, and this lady was trying to tell me that I had too many things to take into the dressing room, and I kind of vaguely understood it, but not really, and I just shut straight down, and she got so mad because I wasn't saying anything. Because she was clearly getting more and more annoyed, which made my anxiety shut me down more and more. It was terrible.
Yeah.
No.
Ugh.
Yep, but that is my French ability. I can read a lot of French. I can't understand it.
Same. My dad, he's like, he can't read French, and then his grammar is really atrocious. So when I first started taking classes, I was like, oh yay, I can speak with my dad and stuff, and I can ask him for help. But no, he would I would ask him stuff, and he'd be like, oh wait, really? That's how that works?
Oh,
But
no.
accent, and then he can speak it well. He can speak street French or home French, but
Yeah, it's very different from Parisian French.
me, and I was like, where's my grandma?
Yeah.
Yeah, where's my grandmère?
Yeah, my problem with French is that to my ears, every word sounds like every other word. And none of them are
Right?
spelled. I'm sorry.
French spelling is just.
You just cut off the end of the word, the last two letters. You
Yeah,
don't need.
we added 5 extra letters for a backup in case
Yeah.
there was an emergency.
Just in case.
Yeah,
Yep.
Well,
in case the
I
other
need
ones
to
got
use the
deleted from
restroom
existence.
and probably decompress a little bit. It's been
Yeah.
great hanging out with
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
You guys
wrap
worked
up
so
too.
hard. It's been 3 hours, guys.
you.
Yep.
Good work.
Yes.
Hard work.
Yes. Thank you
Mhm.
all so much. And thank you everyone for popping in, watching, chatting with us. It was a good time. We're going to do it again next week sometime. Good night,
Mhm.
Hell
everybody.
yeah.
Yeah,
Good
good
night.
night, guys.
Okay.
Good night.
Night.
Sweet
Bye
dreams.
bye.
Bonne
Mhm.
nuit.
Bonne nuit.
Oyasumi.
Oyasumi nasai.
Good night.
Good night. Sweet dreams.
Bye bye.
Mama.